And like you said, we get stupider and stupider people that's coming out of college. I'm always like, yo, when a motherfucker tell you that the Sphinx was built by something that we don't have today, I believe it. I just think that niggas got so smart that they got dumb again. And I think that's what's happening to us. It's like we keep
Like we
progressing.
become too domesticated to do anything.
Yeah. And then niggas just die out. And now it's history like, oh, what about them niggas back in 2020? They had it all. No, niggas, we really did.
Well,
We were struggling.
some of us had it all, and then others of us took it.
And some of us went to jail for having it all.
Yeah, and then
Right. Some of us gave it all.
And and that's why we're here today, because
But
some
you
of
know
us
what?
took it by any means necessary.
And one thing I want to say before we dive into this is that these women is what every man wants. A woman that will give you her all. That was a corny ass joke, but
I was just sitting here like, that's so sad. Ew. Really? I'm a lesbian now. Wow. Just like that. Pussy dry.
Don't know nothing about it, but that's where I'm at now.
Not interested. My God.
Oh man.
Hi, Jay. So yeah, I guess this is all docked up.
Hey y'all.
Welcome to episode like number whatever the fuck it is.
35 or 6, I think.
I was like, we be numbering these? Wow.
Good pods recently like showed me how many episodes. Yeah, I think it's like 35 or 36.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Love that. Beautiful.
Yeah. Shout out that we still here doing this.
Who would have thought?
I love recording with y'all.
Not me. Look at us.
Look at us. I see the part. Right. Like, look at us.
Who'd have thought it? Not us. Not me.
Not us.
No clue. Just didn't think that we'd still be here.
When I tell y'all, for anybody that's watching or will watch this, when I tell y'all this shit literally was like a few random phone calls, like, you trying to do this? Yeah, who else we doing it with? Word, right. Let's go.
And then the pandemic hit, and it just made even more sense.
It was like, all niggas can do is sit in the house and watch TV.
And we picked like the perfect group of people because it was already 3 niggas that was either sitting in their house smoking and or drinking, watching documentaries. So they were like, great, what should we cover? And we were like, let me pull out the list of things I watched in just the last 12 hours.
Exactly.
And that's how our first list started.
Hey, you niggas want to talk to me about some shit I do every day? Bet. I'm there. I'm with it.
This works for me. So hey guys, this is all docked up. Like VJ said earlier, I'm Chris. That's VJ, and Penrose just disappeared.
Bang, bang.
But we back. So thank you for tuning in. I know like it's a different day, a little bit earlier is normal, but as we know, we all have things to do tomorrow. Football, and that's why we're here. It's February. And we didn't really spin for this because we have like a spinning wheel that we go through and we kind of just randomly pick them. But we didn't really spin for this one because for me, I just felt like this is so appropriate 2 days before Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, guys.
Happy early Valentine's Day. Yeah, appropriate because definitely. And then I think I thought about it and I was like, Chris did a really good job picking up on like how popular this one was going to be because it's still in the Netflix top 10 and like it's literally the thing that everybody is talking about. Like at this point, if you haven't seen Tinder Swindler, you're just like not watching it out of sheer spite, right? Like it's like when people are all talking about like Power or like whatever. What was that?
Euphoria.
Yeah, it's like you just don't want to. Like you're just not watching out of spite, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Somebody came up to my house today. And I was watching it for the last time. I always try to watch it one more time right before we record. And my windows are open. And when I went to open the door, they was like, yo, that shit's good. I'm like, nigga, you don't even know what I'm watching. Like, you watching the Tinder Swindler, nigga. You watching the Tinder Swindler. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm watching.
Like, why are you staring into my window? Watch it. Like,
all
what?
right.
Yeah.
Like was my TV that loud?
Like, was the plan not to knock on the door and then you wanted to watch, or what's up?
He was about to bring some popcorn and just finish it up with you.
Right, like shit. Like, what you about to do? I ain't doing shit.
You trying to see this third victim get some revenge? Like, cool.
Right.
So,
okay, Okay, so yeah, we talking about Tinder Swindler, and I'll stop talking. I got to get my voice together, guys. I just woke up like 20 minutes ago. I'm so sorry.
Well, I am having sinus issues because it was 70 yesterday and it's 40 today, and I'm suffering through. I'm just doing my best. So y'all just
have we ever stopped to think about if that fucking groundhog is really just trying to murder us all? Like,
didn't he die? One of them died.
Somebody.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, how long has this been going on? For like 100 years? Like, this nigga's died 16 times.
Yeah, he's had to die more than one. Because I used to grow up really believing that it was like, I was like, yo, how they know every year when this nigga about to pop out, son? Like, damn. I really was.
Not you thought this nigga was in the cave with a fucking meteorology machine. Like, let me go tell these niggas.
I guess today, that day. Like, can you imagine being the groundhog and your girl like, nah, I don't want you to go, babe. You know, every year.
The people need me.
Right.
I gotta go out there and
the streets are calling. I gotta go.
I gotta go out there and do this strange weather prediction that has something to do with my shadow.
Did you just like right up there I was talking about with that Brett guy from the last doc where he had like the fucking board with all the red pins.
Oh yes, with the red.
The groundhog is like in there from like like February
from last,
2nd
right,
like
like this year
January 31st, like ready to like.
He just got like whole like fucking weather systems up there with just whole bunch of like
pigs and like sticky notes.
He's like angles of the sun and shit.
He's got his little smoky robe and his like glasses. Yes, he's like holding a cup of tea.
A tea and shit with two hands. Yep.
With two hands, like so this year I'm gonna be right. This year I'm gonna be right.
They gonna love this shit. This gonna be.
Wait till I go tell these niggas it's springtime.
He rubbed his back before he went out the door. Like, baby,
you got this. You got this, Prince Kentucky.
Bitch, I love you. I'll see you in a few days.
Behind every groundhog, nigga.
Okay, we're off topic. Okay, wait. Okay. God. We're here to talk about humans.
Yes, we are. Silly humans, but humans nonetheless. Simon. Some people in the streets like him. Like, I ain't gonna say no name. Scoots. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Scoots is out here trying to
like worship at the man's feet. It's a little like
he got his whole summer planned out. So
that nigga gonna sign up for that $311
class. Yo, if Scoots me in y'all DMs, like, don't answer. Like, he on that bullshit.
He's definitely trying to swindle. If he starts asking you your mother's maiden name, don't.
Right.
As soon as his shit go from Scoots and it turns to a regular picture and that shit just sounds like Calvin Ritter. Do not answer.
So we meet Cecilia. Is Cecilia?
Is it Cecile or Cecilia? I wrote a bunch of different variations.
When they put it up in the blue, it ended with an A. In all of the closed captions,
it ended with an
E. Yeah. Right. So I guess they were spelling it. So I guess it is spelled with the E, but the pronunciation is with the A, which might have been why they put it up in blue so that people would say it correctly.
Right. That might
and she Norwegian, so
that might be the English English
the
way
translation.
Yeah, because the guy's name
that's what I've been calling her.
Because the guy's name is Peter, the bodyguard. We'll meet him later, but I think on one of the transactions they were showing it didn't look like Peter. So
Piotr.
Yeah, or
they're
something
just
like
making
that.
up names that are palatable. It sounds like.
Yeah. So we meet Cecilia, and all I can really tell you about Cecilia is that she is in love with love, and that is really the nicest part of Cecilia.
Listen, my note says that everything to this woman is a Disney movie. Like, she was so enthralled with being somebody's girlfriend and just being in love, and I'm gonna put this Tinder picture up and this Tinder picture up, and then it's gonna make it look like this. And I'm just looking at this.
Yeah, like the whole formula. Like, and I didn't even think about that. Like, yeah, I guess like if I put a picture of like me and my friends, like that means I'm social. Like I don't think about that. Like I just be like,
Right.
which one do I look the best in?
Thank you. She was navigating the thing. Like,
yeah.
And I'm gonna let you take this right back, BJ. But just in the sense of like you said, she was in love with love. Like that was the thing I wrote down. The way her face lit up talking about Beauty and the Beast, the shit was almost kind of cute. She looked like everything going into talking about him from the first 30 seconds of her talking. Everything was just like.
I mean, there's even some times where you still see a glimmer of that when after we found out about this nigga, like.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is obviously sad. She's sitting here talking about him after the fact, and she still got stars in her fucking eyes. Like, I love Beauty and the Beast girl too, but like, let's call a spade a spade here. It's supposed to be entertainment, right? Like, that's not real life. Like, nobody should be kidnapping 16-year-old French girls and locking them in a tower with like inanimate objects with a nigga that's like a beast and saying, hey girl, you gotta like love and fuck this beast thing or whatever, or all these like clocks are gonna die. Like that.
I thought it was so he could like turn into another nigga. Like
I thought that's what it was too. But
but also the clocks was gonna die.
By like a certain amount of time that he died, and then the magic
and
died,
then everything. Yeah. And like, so this nigga Lemire is just the candlestick again.
Yeah, but that means like everybody dies. Like it's just like it was a lot to put on a 16-year-old girl whose frontal lobe is not like she just wants to read some books and not by like
hey, yo, just on the subject of Disney movies, you wanna know what somebody pointed out to me the other day? Why the fuck it was Cinderella with the slipper, right?
Yeah.
Why the fuck was she the one doing the cleaning if those was her stepsisters? Bitch, this is my daddy house. What the fuck
because her stepmother came in and said,
but I'm just saying, like,
your daddy not here no more. We don't really know you like that, so downstairs you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's fucked up, but basically, like, they was married, and so when he died, the money went to that lady, so...
Yeah, basically.
What was she gonna be like? Nah, I refuse. She was gonna be in the orphanage.
You're right. She was gonna be like, nah, I'm just gonna go to New York and just find my way.
Nah, she probably was like that nigga on the DeVry commercial making me feel like shit. Get my shit together. You know what I'm saying? Fuck y'all and this ball.
This ain't it. Oh my god.
Anyway. My bad.
But yeah, so she is a person that like super like loves love, and like we'll go through this story, and there'll just be times where Cecilia is still, even though she knows this nigga stole money from her, even though she knows this nigga not gonna ever give it back to her, like she still has some kind of softness for him, and
you could tell by the way she was talking about him, it was super weird. But I will say, I think like even. Like when she's talking about her ideal person, like that part also shines through. Like I'm not gonna say that Cecilia is a gold digger. I'm just gonna say that Cecilia was looking for a specific type of man, and he just happened to fit the bill. And she was like, "I'm trying to have experiences. I'm trying to see some new shit, and you and a man working at the same job I work at is not gonna get that for me. So let's see what we can do." Because she quotes Marilyn Monroe in "Gentleman Prefers Blondes," and I was like,
blondes.
"That's very telling, Missy." Like I don't know who.
I mean, but was she lying though?
But I was gonna say she was kind of spitting facts.
Yes, that Marilyn Monroe line is the truest shit ever spit.
And it's not necessary. And it's not necessarily true because men with a lot of money like pretty women. Pretty women know that men with a lot of money like them, and they use that as a leverage to get said money. So it's not.
This is why there's a broke fit nigga with one girlfriend and a fat ass rich nigga with 12.
That's right. I mean, and it's not revolutionary in what she's saying. It's just that she's maybe not cute enough to be the person saying it.
Saying it, I got you. But I mean,
like she's cute, but she not.
Okay, she was right. But yeah. For the lifestyle that man was living, and this is not to like down talk any women, because it was kind of like how who was that, Damon Wayans, when he said that, yo, I believe Bill Cosby did that shit, but some of them bitches is just unrapeable, so I can't believe them all. It's the same kind of motherfucking lane. Like, you're not really.
He's not the first person in my life to say that. Like, so.
You didn't hear that shit?
I'm gonna pretend I didn't.
Damon Wayans said that shit.
I no.
I mean, Janice Dickinson is not really
no, anyway. But also, but no. No.
Okay.
No.
Slim was cute.
I mean, I just want to say Cecilia's pictures looks better than she did.
Amen. That's what I was gonna say. Like she was doing. It wasn't like a catfish, but it was a catfish. Like I don't know. Like filters.
Yeah.
Was it filters?
She just.
I look better in person. She did not.
Maybe it's like stress from owing 9 banks $250,000.
Hell yeah! Right. We seeing her like 2 years later.
You're right. We seeing her like with hundreds of thousands.
Remember when Obama left office?
Nigga, weathered down, nigga.
That nigga came out of office like that nigga look like SpongeBob. All right, I'm gonna head out. Like, nigga, I gotta get this.
I was excited, like, great, y'all can have this shit. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, that nigga left office and immediately went to Cuba with Jay-Z and Beyonce. Like, you gotta know that you ready to run. Like, yeah, get me the fuck out of here, man.
Right. So she is our Tinder expert because, like I said, she loves love. So she just on Tinder having 1,000-something matches. She sees Simon Levy.
Okay,
hold
on, wait.
It's spelled Leviev. So Leviev.
Look, I'm trying to think of how they say Lev's name because that helped me. It was like Leviev.
Yes, Levy, because that's what they kept saying. His Lev Levy.
I was gonna say what we'll get into is the fact that he didn't give a fuck about these names at all. But that's another story.
Okay, yeah. So she meets Simon Levy, and he basically like matches her on Tinder, and it's like super match, heart stars, rainbows, unicorns, and he immediately messaged her and was like, "Hey, I'm in London, but like for 5 seconds, girl, how about we meet for coffee? Like I'm about to run out the door, but I can spare an hour for you." And she was like, "Cool." So he drops the Four Seasons address. She meets him at the Four Seasons. They do the little whatever. And this is when he tells her that he is heir to the fortune of LLD Diamonds and that his dad, Lev Levy, is the king of diamonds and he's the prince of diamonds. And he's showing her pictures of him with his family. One picture of him with his family that is
like only one.
He didn't know that it was Photoshopped. And I really really bad Photoshop.
Thank you. You up there with your dad and your sister, and he only got his arm around her, and you in front.
He just in the front. He just in the front, like
so bad. Like I was like, who takes a picture like that?
Right, truly. Like
it was very ghetto. Like,
go ahead, my bad.
So they do the little coffee date, and he's like, "Oh, basically, he saw the stars in his bitch eyes because I hate to be this person, but he saw a sucker and he licked. Like day one, he saw her sitting there with the stars in her eyes, looking like she ain't never been nowhere, and he immediately was like,
recording inside of the jet, like." She already knew what was up. Now, like just a whole bunch of things.
And now and then you looking at it like too, like because when I was talking to Scoots online about this, and he was like, "Oh, this nigga's the OG," and I'm like, "It's really not." I said, "This nigga's lies were actually weak as fuck. His execution just was amazing because he literally tells this girl he's busy. All right, fuck it, I got enough time to meet you for this coffee. Yo, I got some business to take care of. You trying to take this flight, nigga? I've literally been on a coffee date with you for an hour, and you want to take me to Bulgaria?
I'm not about to go to another country with you, my nigga. I'm not even going around the corner with you if niggas didn't know I was going around the corner. Like,
and the point, and then she points out that her friends in the group chat were like, "Bitch, are you crazy?
You're gonna get kidnapped."
The one friend's name, Matilda. Matilda's the only one with any fucking sense. Matilda name, every time Matilda name popped up on the screen, it was like, bitch, what? Are you crazy? She's gonna traffic you.
You're gonna
kidnap
you. You're gonna get kidnapped.
You know, he's the only person with any fucking sense. The rest of them were like, oh my God!
I'm so happy for you.
Like, get the fuck?
PJ!
You screaming happiness for this bitch to her ear come back in the mail. Like, you sitting
was trapping.
So they get on this plane.
God.
Basically, the Rolls Royce, like he's a Rolls Royce to take her to her house. She throws some shit in the suitcase, grabs her passport, comes back. They get on the plane.
Too fast.
They get on the
plane.
She
even makes note of that. I can pack very quickly on my first time. Maybe this bitch was no digging shit.
Maybe. So, all right.
Yeah, they get on the plane. Who else is on the plane? Who else went on the date?
Okay.
I want to tell.
Yes. Tag in.
For one, the nigga who I think is running all of this, the big homie Peter was on the plane, for one. For two, we don't know at this time, but his business partner was on the plane. But one of the most
bodyguard before we get
right, Peter's the bodyguard.
Yes, Peter's the bodyguard.
There's a business who I think is really running all of this shit, but that's just me. There's a business partner. I forgot his name, but his last name is Shay. But the most important person that's on this motherfucking plane,
Ivy or some shit,
is Peter's kid and her mom are on the plane on the first date that he is. He just told
her about this nigga at the half point of his coffee. I just want y'all to know, like,
so
she just found out about his kid and all of this.
Right.
So 30 minutes, she found out he had a kid. An hour and 30 minutes later, they was on the plane with said kid.
Everybody.
The baby.
Everybody that we just named. Right. Private jet too. We ain't flying nothing commercial, bitch. We out.
We in the PJs, nigga.
You know it.
They get to the hotel. Ain't nobody doing no business that we could tell. Because it was a business trip, but didn't no business happen.
Come on, man. Only business that happened was them getting busy. You know, she gave them skins up. She said it. That's the only business that happened that night.
She did say it.
And then she sees some scars on his back, and that's when the lie got out of control. And when the plane landed, she should have just left it alone.
Now, before we move past that.
Oh no, I'm finna talk about this lie.
I bet.
Oh no, we can get into this lie.
with the lie, was it just me that when this nigga started the lies, and we'll see what goes on in the future? But that there was fucking was this nigga making these stories, or was he like, yo, what stories can we take that's really happening in real life and make
That's what I was asking. That's what I was asking. Like, did this nigga have a Canva account? Like, what is happening? Like, were these real publications? And I rewatched it last night at 3 a.m. So like, I definitely didn't have the energy to like Google some of that stuff. But I was like, damn, like, is this shit real? Like, are these like real articles, or is this how deep we are right now? Like,
so
right.
They are real articles, because the situation with the diamond smuggling and stuff is something that LLD Diamonds and Level V were dealing with. He just was never charged with anything.
Okay.
Do you think that news?
So right, those articles were real. That I think, but for him, it was opportune because it lined up with what he was trying to scam.
So that's what I was gonna say. So is that when he found out that was what was happening with LLD Diamonds? Is that when he took on that Simon Leviev? Like,
probably,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, had to.
No, I don't. No, I think that's when he just tried to scam Pernilla.
Nah, because that wasn't Pernilla. He used that. So think about it. He takes Cecilia on the first date. They get there, they smash, they fuck. She asks him about his scars, and he tells her, I was in jail in South Africa, business deal going wrong. And she looks this shit up, and it's there. And then then after they smash and talking shit, they fall asleep, and all of a sudden, phone going off, boom, 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 boom. And he sends her back home that same night.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got a lot to think about in the sense of, I just fell in love with this nigga. I just gave this nigga the box. I'm pillow talking with this nigga. He telling me his deepest, darkest, worst shit. And then all of a sudden, because of business, I got to go to the crib. So that's what I'm saying. Like, these stories, when she say, is that the time that he started taking on that name, is like, because if those are real stories, you're not about to show me some shit. A chick not about to con me right now with a story from 2016. You know what I mean? So that shit would have had to be recent.
The part about being in jail in South Africa, she doesn't Google anything about him. She's just listening to this story. Like, she's taking the story at face value. She gets home and tells the group chat about dude, and they Google him, and they were like, you need to be careful, because if he's into diamonds, that is a very dangerous business. There's no article linked to him fucking Celia. Like he just tells her this lie unprovoked.
Right.
Word.
He just told her that shit unprovoked. She did not Google a goddamn thing. She just said, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And that's why Cecilia was like his biggest and best mark, because she didn't Google a fucking thing.
She was the one that, like, the whole time I was watching this, I was just like, I feel bad for everybody. But you know how, like, in Human Centipede, the nigga at the end is really getting it the worst? That's how I felt about Celia. I was like, the rest of these bitches did dirty shit. But bitch, you got that.
I don't know. I think about that nigga in the middle of the Centipede often.
That's
like,
gotta be.
But I only think about him because in the first one, I think it was a chick, and then the front and the end died. So you just stuck alive in the middle. Like, what are you gonna do? Like,
okay, this was enough for me. Thanks.
Wow.
Yo, do you know they made 3 of those?
Unfortunately.
Do you know I've seen all of them?
This is why you are the way you are.
Look, the second one was about like some cult shit, and I ain't gonna tell you what happens. Like a baby and a fucking speed pedal come together. But look, the last one was hilarious because he literally was trying to take a whole jail full of people and make them a human centipede. And when I say, yo, that had to be some of the funniest, nastiest shit I've ever seen in my life. But any fucking way. My bad. What the fuck happened to Chris?
Chris left. She said she'll be back. So they get back, and Cecilia's like, well, I didn't know if anything else would happen. Right, fair enough. Because it's Tinder, you never know.
Yeah, that nigga might not call you back.
Yeah, she's hopeful, and then he starts messaging her and sending her flowers. And I put in my notes, bring on the love bomb, right? Because then it's, I love you, I miss you. Oh, we had so much fun. We look so great together. You're so special. You're so beautiful. La, 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 la. Like just constant reassurance and whatever. And like at some point, she's like, oh, I'm going to Oslo to be with my family. You should come too. He like catches a private jet in the middle of the night to Oslo to see her. And like when he's there, I guess that's around Valentine's Day, he asked her to be his girlfriend.
Right.
And this is when he's like, but also, now that you've agreed to be my girlfriend, let me tell you about my many, many enemies that are trying to kill me.
Right. All of a sudden, the real hardcore life of being a diamond heir, or the heir to a diamond company, I'm sorry.
Whatever.
Right. Starts to come the fuck out. And all of a sudden, he has these enemies. And it's like, nobody really, whether you're a street nigga or I would imagine even like some like super spy ass nigga, you really don't say niggas' names, but you're not just going to always say my enemies. You know what I mean? Like if it's about you trying to tell somebody you love to, hey, you might need to watch out. Who do I need to watch out for? You know what I mean? And this nigga just, everything with her was my enemies, my enemies, my enemies. And like, he laid into that enemy shit like real thick right off top.
Yeah, and I just thought it was weird because it's just like, if that's the case that he has enemies, like he's not the CEO of the company. His dad is. So like if you have all these enemies and he's like, oh, well, he has a security team back in Israel. Well, if these people are truly after you and it's that big of security risk, why do you not have security with you 24/7 if your family is worth billions of dollars?
Come on.
It didn't make any sense. Like my enemies. And he's like, oh, somebody sent me a gun, a bullet in the mail.
I
turn it over to the police. Why is it on Instagram? Like
in my notes, that part says, hold on, what the fuck did this? Because I know in my notes it says something like the bullet and the funeral flowers was hilarious. Like, yo, you're literally telling me that you are the heir to a multi-billion-dollar business, and the type of enemies you have are petty enough. They have enough low-level niggas to take the time to send a bullet in the fucking mail and some funeral flowers to your front door. The fact that, again, this nigga's lies were weak as shit. But his execution and the pressure.
Ask any questions. And that's why I said Cecilia was the perfect mark, because she never asked questions. She never Googled anything. Because it's like, God damn, bitch, a Google image search would have cleared up a lot of this.
Exactly. We probably have to thank Cecilia for being so gullible for the reason that we mad this documentary.
I mean, because truth be told, everybody else was too embarrassed because it's not like she's yelling. We'll get into it, but
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but like it's just what? Okay, so then I guess basically like we meet Peter kind of at this point, and Peter's security, and they're chilling there, and then Peter basically tells Simon, "Hey, like your enemies,
Right.
That's the I guess that should be the magic word for the show. We haven't had
for
one
this show. We haven't had one right. Enemies. We Herman world. Yeah.
Like what does that? What does any of that even mean, nigga? Like he never described
not a goddamn thing. So
Who
Peter calls.
Enemies were right.
So Peter is like VIP, like wingman, like of all the people. Like people are giving Simon a lot of credit, but like the credit should go to Peter because if Peter's not here, shit falls apart. Because Peter is calling nigga. On the phone. Peter is blowing the shit up. Peter's like, yeah,
Peter's bleeding.
Oscar award-winning actor. Like Peter's a jack of all trades. Like he's doing it all. So
hey, you remember when what was that? The Oscars when Moonlight really won and they gave it to they tried to give it to the white people. The dude told the truth. That's how that would be. They would, whatever that movie they tried to give it to, and then somebody would be like, "Nah, Peter, you won my nigga." Like
Peter for that ambulance ride.
Oh my god,
he's right there. I've never. Yeah, so basically Peter calls on the phone because it's always Peter who calls and says your enemies, and then they jump up and go run. So yeah, basically Peter tells him that he can't be in London and it's a security breach or whatever, and he's got to dip. So he says, she says, okay, he kisses her or whatever and leaves with Peter. And this is when we meet Pernilla.
Now, mind y'all, for y'all that's watching, this is the second time that this woman has been dismissed for like within hours of being around this nigga. All right,
like they aren't. Yeah, keep in mind that he asked her to be his girlfriend, and they have not spent any significant time together. Like
right,
because
after the first night,
communicating that like they slept together on their first date.
And he sent her home because it was too busy.
It was too dangerous. He had too much business happening, and it was interrupting their like time.
And then when he asked her to be his girl, and they see each other again, immediately within hours, yo, you gotta go. The enemy, what VJ talking about? The enemies. Like,
turn off the lights, nigga. The enemies is here.
We gonna get that was the wildest part. That was the wildest part of all of this, Lord. Oh,
nigga,
I don't mean to offend nobody that might be watching, but that shit made me feel like when my mama used to close the blinds when the Jehovah's Witnesses would come to the door. Like, get on the floor. Get on the floor. Do not answer that.
Don't let them fucking see you.
If you answer that door, I will beat your ass. Like now, when they would just tell a Jehovah's Witness, like, yo, keep punching. Why was our parents making us get on the floor?
So they really were telling us to get on the floor, but really quick story. One time I looked through the picture window and the lady came to the window and started doing her spiel at the window.
Yeah.
And my grandma just snatched me from the curtains, and the curtains was like... Listen, I gotta go to work, Jay. I cannot take a shot every time we say enemies. I have to work.
Well, I mean, yes. I was sipping wine every time I said enemies because this a lot.
I'm very jealous. I'm not gonna lie, you guys.
Oh man.
But so Pernilla is like, yeah, I met another diamond guy, and so then the producer, like the interviewer, cuts in and is like
another one.
And she's like, I used to date this guy that was like into diamonds or whatever. And they was like, oh, okay. So but basically, he meets Pernilla on Tinder, and he's like, you're in Stockholm, I'm in Amsterdam, let me just book you a flight. And she was like, oh, that's very nice.
I want to point out one difference between Cecilia and Pernilla is the fact that Pernilla was a independent woman, right? Like, yeah. So like she made it a point to say that like she wasn't necessarily looking for love on that shit, just looking for somebody to like who's on her same like wavelength in life.
Yeah, and she wanted somebody to match her fly.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And you could tell in the difference in Pernella's Tinder profile, right? Because
yes.
Pernella's Tinder profile
I believe her.
A lot of pictures that was not necessarily curated, but she was like, I want to show a good variety of pictures of myself, some of me going to work, some of me dressed up. She's like, because I still want to attract a man, but she just wasn't like it wasn't. I don't want to say Cecilia was desperate, but she just was very focused on it having to be a love match with everybody. And Pernilla was more realistic about what the fuck Tinder is.
And I think at the same time too, something you brought up earlier. Cecilia was in a regular, let's say a regular 9 to 5. So seeing somebody like Simon was hitting the jackpot. Pernilla was like, this the nigga I'm supposed to be hanging out like this nigga's on my level. This nigga is not a, you know what I mean? He's not a big catch for her because she was already hanging around those kind of people. So
exactly.
This is why we see things play out kind of differently for Pernilla, but we'll get into that. So
interesting.
Pernilla's like, yeah, okay, I'll meet you. So he flies her out. She says, thank you. That was very kind of you. Like, Pernilla's not starstruck. She was like, yeah, you ought to if you want me to come, bitch. I wasn't going to foot the bill. Like, good for her. And she says he asked her a lot of questions. And I think this was where things are different, right? Like, that's exactly like what Jay said. She wasn't impressed with the flash. He asked her a lot of questions because he realized that she wasn't going to be a good mark.
Right.
And I think,
and she even said that at one point he tried to like come on to her, and she was like, wasn't feeling it.
And he
was like, oh, let's just be friends.
But he pulled the same MO that he did with Cecilia, and like she said, what better museum to go to than a diamond museum? And you're going with somebody with a nigga that know the business. You know what I mean? So he impressed her the same exact way that he impressed Cecilia. He realized that he had to do it on a more intellectual level. But the move in, the kiss in the elevator was the equivalent to him trying to kiss her outside that diamond museum. And she was like, hey.
Hard pass, bro.
I mean, like I said, I think what it boils down to is like when our parents would be like, act like you've been somewhere. Like, that's what it is. Like, she's been somewhere. And so even if Pernilla made 30 grand a year, Pernilla was not out here acting like she made 30 grand a year. So she wasn't a mark. Like, he's literally... Cecilia, he saw a sucker and he licked. Pernilla, he was like, okay.
Because even when we get into
like a board, like she's cool.
Even if we like once we get into like what he did to all of these women, I really went back and looked at that and was like so for 1/3 of the movie we saw one woman get used, for 2/3 of the movie we saw 2 women get used, but for 100% of the movie, Cecilia was getting financially raped, nigga. Like, she literally footed the bill for, like, a lot of people.
Cecilia footed the entire bill for the summer that Simon was hanging out with Pernilla as friends, and then he picked up another girlfriend.
Nah, but look, though, that's what I'm glad you brought that up, because he tried to put the moves on Pernilla. She says no. So how do you soften up the mark because you see the finances? You bring girlfriend along.
I tell her I have a girlfriend now, so I'm not really interested in you no more, but we can now cultivate our friendship, right? As a friend, I'm taking you with us. Like, let's go have fun together because you my friend. Yeah.
And the thing about it is that she was already in Mykonos, so it's not as if he took her. So that's also a part of them being able to build like a mutual respect, because he wasn't putting the bill for her trip, right? Like, she was already there. Right. She was going to have a great trip regardless. Like, it wasn't.
It was a whole bunch of times where Pernilla was about to pull out her credit card, but this nigga Simon had already done it.
Yeah.
Now,
so we're back with Cecilia, I guess.
Well, hold on, wait. Before we go back to Cecilia, the part that we at right now, we're talking about Pernilla. For anybody who might not have seen this, when Peter leaves Cecilia, before we about to get back into her, he tells her he has to go. Simon, my bad. He tells her he has to go to Stockholm. Who's in fucking Stockholm? Goddamn motherfucking
Pernilla.
And so now, at this point in time, because it took them, I think, 3 weeks to be together, or in a month before he started asking for money. As Chris said, this nigga has now he meets Pernilla. He tries to motherfucking go to the club with her. She don't like that shit. The next day he out. They meet in, what is it, Miyako, you said it's called?
I'm trying to backtrack to get where she starts sending the money, because this.
Oh, well, go ahead.
Are you talking about Cecilia?
Yeah, that's why I said
Yeah,
back to
because-
Cecilia, because at this point, nothing's happened with Pernilla except for the date.
Yes, but by now,
Right.
I think Cecilia's already taken out a loan.
I think what VJ wants to say is everything that we about to talk about they did for that summer. We need to. Yeah, I see.
It's on Cecilia.
Basically, keep in mind, Cecilia, he tells her he wants to move in, right? Like, this is when shit is really jumping. He's telling her, let's move in together. They're looking at a $15K per month budget for the apartment. And this is when he ramps up his.
That's $15K a month.
Oh, okay. 15. I mean, it ain't his money. Like, it could have been 15.
But where this works for him? Think about everything that happened. Where this part worked for him. Because at first I was like, why would you do this? Nothing is in this nigga's name but this apartment, and he got it signed off that same fucking day, and sent her the money. You know what I mean? Like off top, like yeah, $15K, bitch, this ain't shit. You want to live where? Let's go.
Right. So so again, like a good con man, this part it makes him a good con man because the whole thing in con is confidence. He builds her confidence in him in his ability to pay her back because they're looking for apartments. He just signs the apartment lease and hands her the money. Yep. No questions asked, nothing. So she's like, he's good for it. So then this is when she waits. So they sign for the apartment. Next day, what happens? She getting calls in the middle of the night.
Within hours.
Peter. That's right. Not even the next day. Within hours. He wakes up out of her sleep talking about his enemies.
Her first night in the apartment that she now is so, when this nigga come home from these deals, we have a home together. Her first time laying her head to bed in the fucking apartment of her dreams. This nigga wake her up. My enemies. And this is where we see, I think this is the first time we see the pictures. Oh, yeah. Shit. My bad. I got to get a new bottle. This is empty. It's going to be a long show.
I think I got a little. I'm going to have to sip light. I'm not have to get up. Okay. Woo. Okay. Woo. And shout out to Splash Wines. Be a sponsor. We love it.
Right. Right. That's to sponsor us because, goddamn.
Woo.
Right.
So, yeah, like she's laying there and he wakes up and that's when we see he's sending her text to say, blood, stab, Peter hurt.
Down. Like, that's when Peter was
like, text, blood, hearts,
blood.
Hurts. Like what?
And then he got a picture of him and he got like two little like blood streaks right
here. Remember the one where he was trying to show his forehead? I was like, nigga, to a nigga who wasn't looking for the blood, that looks like a great Tinder picture, nigga.
You can put it up.
This nigga was posing the whole time. You better know it. You better know it.
Nigga, put the pants on!
I got him short. I got him short.
This nigga had his drawers on. Jesus.
Oh man.
Oh my god. All right.
Hey, no bullshit. Hey, no bullshit. The other day I was thinking like I was laying here and I had like the upper robe on or whatever, and somebody came knocking on my door. And in my head, I was like, yo, put some clothes on. And I was like, yo, a nigga knocked on my door unannounced. The fact that I'm even opening this door. And I was like, yo, I got on the phone with somebody and I was like, am I wrong? They was like, what? I was like, it's the whole time I'm conducting business and there's nothing under this robe. But I didn't
Hey, I had to get some food yesterday like that in the robe. So, I mean, what are you going to do? Like,
it is what it is. He sends her the pictures of Peter fucked up face or whatever. Peter laying up there on the ambulance, and I'll be perfectly honest with you. I think what happened in this video is that they were fucked up and got into a fight out of one of these bars or clubs, and that's when he was like, "So this is our night," because Peter is still his friend, and Peter ass got fucked up and got a bottle broke over his face, and then he used people.
I don't think any of that was real. I think this nigga, because I'm looking at like the setup and everything. And it's like, yo, a lot of that shit looked like them niggas was really just like in a white room. Those some like I told you, I got a life story and the Family Guy reference for everything. When Peter and them went to what they call that shit, it was like a Comic-Con type of thing, but it was for like social media. And they had this room that was set up and it said hospital room for Instagram. And he went and laid on the bed, put the IV
and they got a special effects person.
Yeah. And the nigga, he hit the text.
Nigga,
don't really want to talk about it right now, but I'm okay. That's what that's what
my
that was the equivalent, yo.
So like, after he sends her the little fake ass pictures, he like that's when he starts asking for the money. That's when we get into the good shit. Because then he was like, "Hey, girl, so after Peter,
our enemies is out."
Yeah, the enemies after they had hit Peter with that bottle or whatever of Heineken. I'm not sure. I wasn't really there. They hit him with the bottle of poor people's beer. I don't really know which one.
Right.
But I can't use my credit cards anymore. And I know I'm rich or whatever. And I know I could probably just get my dad to, you know, send me some money. But instead, can you, with your poor people's Amex, put me on yours? It's $20,000.
In my notes, I literally have in my notes, bitch, if this nigga is the son of a multi-billionaire,
diamonds,
what does your $25,000 limit? That is this nigga's toenail money. Like
that's the first thing I'm saying is like, damn, that's crazy. What your daddy say?
Like, girl, like, bitch, that's pin money. Like, what are we talking about here? That's allowance, milk money, book money. Like, what are we talking about? And she was just like, well, of course he came to me because I'm his girlfriend. Bitch, he has a whole
he don't have nobody else to trust.
He's a whole rich ass family. Like, so he's rich,
bitch. This nigga took you. This nigga met you to have coffee, took you to have dinner, put you on a plane to Bulgaria, on a private jet, took you to have dinner, smashed you in one of the best hotels, bitch. In that 24 to 28 hours, he spent $25K right then. What does he need? Your motherfucking credit card.
$25K. Listen.
Like it was wild, and that's what I'm saying. She wanted to love somebody so badly, and she wanted it to be real so badly that she, in her mind, justified it by saying, "Well, of course he would come to me. I'm his girlfriend, and he trusts me." Because what? Because girl, what? Like what?
I'm not going to my business partner. I'm not asking my business partner.
They literally all daddy. Go to the mine. Go to the mine. Shit.
Just go get 5 diamonds and send that shit to Amex. Like, this should cover it. Like,
if he needed money that bad, why the watches? The what?
Oh, you know why he couldn't do nothing.
Oh, yeah, I know. I know. Yeah. We know. So then, good as he felt, after she done put this nigga on her Amex, he says, "Hey, girl."
He says I just want to say, he also says just for 2 weeks, because like my enemies is hot and my enemies is tracking my spending and figuring out where I'm at. I ain't trying to have it happen. Let me just borrow it for 2 weeks. Don't trip.
For everybody, and this I ain't just gonna talk about women. I'll talk about men too. For everybody who's took a homosexual into their home, let me stay here for like 2 weeks. I promise it's just 2 weeks. And 6 months later.
It's never 2 weeks, guys. It's never 2 weeks.
It's never 2 weeks.
They never get it.
And if he a professional, he gonna try to get you pregnant.
Or she's gonna try to get knocked up.
You ate all my son's snacks, you dirty bitch.
They want to get pregnant, or they want to get you pregnant. They don't want to get a job. They're not ever going to clean anything or cook anything.
That's what this nigga was.
Never going to put any gas in your car. Just let it go. This is our PSA.
They lift their foot up though while you like vacuuming or some shit.
The homosexual will use your car, and then when you get to complaining about maintenance issues, that's the one thing they say. At least I put gas in it. Bitch, I have tires. I got an oil change.
It's going like this when I'm driving. Gas or not.
The gas is the
I be at work, bitch. You got the car. Like, what is
why is it doing that?
He was elite level homosexual.
That's wild.
And he wasn't even having to get that sexual. That's what nigga teach me.
Like one time, like
he smashed her one time, bro.
Like, girl, okay.
And booted her, didn't he? And wasn't it the same night she got booted?
He sent her back.
And boot? Like he tooted and booted? Like
he fucked. They talked about the scars on his back. They fall asleep. All of a sudden, Peter ringing that phone. Hey, cuz, It's going down. You gotta go.
Damn, do we tell them where he went?
Yeah, he went to Pernilla.
That time he went to Pernilla. He told her he was going to Stockholm. But my thing about this is, if it's too fucking busy, I know I got more motherfucking patience and level to deal with your busyness than a goddamn 4-year-old. Why this goddamn baby get to travel around with all this busyness? But I gotta take my ass back to goddamn Norway tonight.
Yeah, he sent her back to London, but then the mama and the baby
was still there.
And it was like
the enemy's not after them.
Okay. Right. All right. Anyway. Okay.
This bitch was not thinking,
just for 2 weeks, and then before the 2 weeks is up, he maxes that shit out.
Of course.
And messages her like, "Hey, here's a receipt. Listen. I've never seen so many fucking people get fucking tricked by a screenshot of a fucking receipt in my whole entire life. You cannot send me a receipt to tell me that you paid my credit card off, and I didn't immediately get an email from my credit card company saying that you paid
Thank
me
you.
off. I'm on your ass already, my nigga. Like, what is happening?
And here's
the email would have got there for you before your screenshot.
Before I got your screenshot.
So sometimes when you do like wire transfers, it can take a few days, right? Because I work in accounting. So we do have customers that will send us remittance. Will send us remittance for things, right? Okay. And they'll say, "Oh, well, like I may get remittance on Friday, but if you send me a remittance Friday at 2:00, like the bank not finished.
Yeah, you're not gonna see that money till Monday or Tuesday.
I'm not seeing that till Monday or Tuesday. The problem with them is that they are just like not like these look like some fucking like QuickBooks ass fucking Adobe PDF receipts. And it was like, but if someone is doing a wire transfer, there should be like a number or something. You could call your bank and be like, "Hey, I have a wire transfer I'm expecting. This is the number. Is this coming through?
What's the deal?
When is it expected to post?" Like it may not have posted, but they can give you a date. So the fact that they were just taking these fucking screenshots at face value for weeks at a time, like no.
This nigga could have put ADP in the corner and they would have taken them shits.
Like that's wild. A wire transfer is a two-day thing, 2 to 3 days, max.
And if it don't come then, niggas getting your ass.
It's not a week thing where the money's coming. And I'd have been like, okay, and when it hits, I'll see about getting you another loan.
Come on.
Like, I definitely need to make sure this Amex has been paid off before.
Like, I don't know. I cannot leverage myself to the hip. Can you call your dad in the meantime?
I think the nigga too, one of the smartest
things.
Can
you call your dad in the meantime? The rich one, the one with $1 billion. Can you call him? Can he float you a little before I take out another loan?
This nigga, he moved her away from her mom. If you think about that, like her mom, we don't get a good talk about the mom, but I'm pretty sure she would have been a voice of reason because she was living with her mom, and then you moved her the fuck out. So now she's dealing with all of these issues.
I don't know because the mom was talking to him on the phone too.
The mom lives in
I get it. Right. What I'm saying is
he was living in London already.
She was living in London. She didn't go back to Oslo with her mama until after all this shit blew up.
London when she
they
weren't living together.
Okay, my bad. No doubt.
So after he maxes out her card and sends her this fake ass receipt that he sent money to Amex, he's like, "Hey, so since I paid you back, how about you meet me in Amsterdam with $25,000 in untraceable cash?"
In cash.
What about this? What kind of penis? What happened in that 15 minutes she was in that hotel room to make a nigga saying, come to Amsterdam on your own accord with $25,000 of untraceable cash and give it to me? What is happening? And I've had some great sex, you guys. This is not.
But it has never made me like, and I have done some stupid shit.
Some dumb ass shit.
Dumb shit behind some great dick. But it was never so great.
Homie.
It has never been so great that I was like, you know what I should do? Hop on a plane that I paid the ticket for to go hand $25,000.
Go take out a loan to get $25,000 to put it in my suitcase to schedule a ticket to Amsterdam to then unzip this suitcase and hand this to a nigga that has spent about a total of an hour and 15 minutes with me.
Well, now they're at 2 hours because he's about to dip me in.
Not only a loan that I took out, but a loan
he was probably
that
one of those niggas that be like saying
is,
he love you and shit. Why he like?
Why he fucking exactly? Look, this nigga everywhere he at, he can send you this and send you that. But you gonna take out a loan and this nigga ain't nowhere where you can fax him to co-sign, bitch. You gotta think. Like, come on. My enemies, listen, nigga, you in a 5-star hotel. I can get this faxed over to you. Fuck a fax. It's laying on an iPhone. Let me scan this.
Nigga, take a live picture of you paying this shit off, nigga, and send it to me.
Right. My enemies, like they could trace him, like
he's Tupac.
Like it's so wild. Like his daddy, like he. And my thing is, if you did a wire transfer to pay her back, why couldn't your daddy do a wire transfer to you to give you money?
The $25,000.
If the whole thing is they can't use your credit, you can't use your credit card. Why wouldn't
what about your daddy's?
Why wouldn't you use your credit card where you are, get a cash advance on your credit card, use your own fucking cash, and then cut up the credit cards and get new ones?
Because she was in love. And this is a love story, guys. No,
this is a love story.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got it.
Because we said enemies like 4 times.
I'm sorry. So. I'm sorry. Let me drink this because I be tucking my pussy and my heart into my pocketbook when I go out. So I don't know.
Listen. That's not on the tab. Like that's not.
I don't know nothing about that because this is obviously what happens when you just be out here. I don't know. Okay. I'm gonna just drink this because God bless her because he could have took out cash advances on his own credit cards.
He could have sold his own shit.
Like it's and then also like Peter, the guy, and
I was gonna say
business partner. Like, okay,
nobody else has money. All these niggas that we booking flights for, and no one else has money.
The security team said you can't use your credit card, but if the security team is telling you can't use your credit card, then who the fuck is flying them around?
Nigga.
Funneling from
who's
somewhere.
Paid for their flight?
Nigga.
Come on.
Nigga.
Who's
like nothing is making sense.
None of it.
Nothing is making sense.
This is what happens when y'all ask enough questions. When you ask 0 questions and do 0 Googles, this is what you get.
Like she really was taken by that PJ nigga. Like there's no other way.
The private jet got her in a tizzy. Had to be.
It really did.
She got her stupid ass on the flight and handed her $25K cash over to that man. And then the same goddamn night, wouldn't you know it, bring, it's Peter in the middle of the night. The enemies is on the way, girl. Turn off all the lights and lock the doors. The enemies is coming. Just kidding. Hi, it's Peter in a Rolls Royce coming to pick me up. Love you. Bye.
Okay, girl. Bye.
Bye.
Oh
so now we're up to a whopping total of 6. 1 hour and 45 minutes together.
Right.
Together. Cecilia and this man, Simon.
Yeah.
That's been roughly 2 hours. Okay, 2.5.
I'm gonna give you 4 because the coffee was an hour date. Remember that was that coffee 4 hours.
So 3. We're at 3 hours.
Boom.
Okay, 3 hours.
The rest of the time, it's just like 3 hours, and I done gave you a $25,000 credit card and 25 racks in cash.
So they leave.
For my own flight.
He leaves. He lands. He sends her a geotag, and where is he?
He go back to Stockholm.
With Pernilla Stockholm. Da, da, da.
Now, for anybody who has not seen this, the entire time you're watching this, up until this point, I really was like, damn, just this nigga's like, well, he's dirty, but like, I just was really, really feeling for Cecilia, because I'm like, damn. I couldn't imagine a nigga conning somebody with the same goddamn con. And then we get to this part of the goddamn movie, and you really feel for Cecilia because just like she footed up her bill to fly out to give this nigga his own the check or the money that she just cashed out.
The $25,000 she just handed him over. He is
mind you, they live together, and he still has not been home one time.
They don't live together. She put the offer on the apartment. She did all of that. I don't think that he had any fucking thing to do with that, except to be on FaceTime.
He put the apartment was in his name and he paid it. She made the offer and he paid it because remember there was no exchange of money at first. He was he that was the part. I think that's what like VJ was saying. That's what really sunk her in. It's like bet you told me to go find this apartment. I'm telling you what they want. I made the offer. He like bet here go the money. Pay that shit. Go to sleep.
Right.
So, but anyway, yes, we up to this point. This nigga flies to Stockholm. He meets Pernilla. Right now, mind y'all. Peter was just bloody.
Now Peter in the club looking like Dame Dash. Like
they were shaking the dice and shit, them little white girls on the face. What did Pernilla call them? Champagne girls? I said, oh, she's nice. Oh, some Pernilla.
Listen. For real.
Pernilla didn't want to call them thoughts. They language don't have.
She really did. She was being real nice. She was making it seem like they worked there.
She called them champagne girls, and I was like, "Girl, okay, we know what that was, but you got it." So yeah, they in the club. Yeah, he gets there and she says, "Oh, what you gonna do? Let's go have dinner." He's like, "Oh no, we're going to the club. We partying." And then she was like, "Yeah, I went for a little bit, but it was too much for me." And Simon was paying for everything. With cash.
With that $25,000 he just got.
That he just took from.
He literally took that shit out of her hand and went straight to the club. Like, and I'm sick.
Like, he really took, like, it was like 2:00, he met her. 2:05, he had the money. 3:05, he was at the airport, and like 6:05, he was in the club. Like it really was.
6:05, I was at the club.
Like, what fucks me up though? Like what fucks me up? Like it's on some real shit. Like you're not like a regular nigga. Like if I go spend some money on a chick, and like even in my gullible days, let's say my 20s, if I spend some money on you, and every time I spend some money on you, I don't give a fuck if it's like a cheap ass dinner, if I got your nails done, whatever. But every single time I spend my money, you're like, oh, I gotta go get my son. Bitch, after that second time, probably after that first time, depending on these circumstances, I know I just got played. You know what I mean? Like you're not about to do this to me again. Like he's
literally living like a Rockefeller artist. Like I can't.
Right.
It's a lot of robbing Peter to pay Paul in this case. Robbing Cecilia to pay Pernilla, but it's a lot of
it's oh my God.
So then while he's out there with Cecilia, like he's telling Cecilia, hey girl, that $25K was cute, but you need to get the limit up on this limit. Like, thank you. That was cute. That like paid for security for like a day. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna show you how to defraud Amex. So here's what you're gonna do. You're going to call them and say you need the credit card limit up. And she was like, hey, so I make $60K a year. They have given me all the money they plan on giving me. And he was like, oh, no. What we're going to do is lie and say you work for LLD Diamonds and we going to fake some check stubs. And to you, my dear watchers and listeners of the podcast, and my brother and my sister, dear brother and sister, if you have the ability to add someone to the payroll at a job, do you not then have the ability to actually cut them a check for said job and pay them the money that you owe them?
Oh, well, not if you acting like Instagram scammers and you just making fake paycheck stubs.
Okay, I'm just making sure because I just, he asked for a passport like he was going to add her to the for real stuff and she just didn't ask.
Like he sent it, it was like, and she was like, he sent the email with all my information to the account. Like, no, he didn't. He just he didn't.
My whole thing was like you never once from your most low paying job to the best job you've ever had. After your people send you that offer letter, HR is the next nigga on your ass. Like, hey, I'm gonna need you to fill this out. Just da 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 da.
Not your boyfriend. Like nobody else hit you up. Like, hey girl, this picture ain't clear or some shit. Like.
Your boyfriend is the heir to a one of the biggest diamond companies in the world, and HR didn't email you, bitch.
Hey girl, he trying to make it look like you make $94,000 a month. I just need to make sure you real. Like anything. Like And that's what her shit was. Her shit, he fucking did some shit to where when Amex called, right, they saw that she made $94,000 a month, and then they just upped her credit limit. Basically, now, before he did this, he had her calling back and forth because they kept shutting the credit card down because he was being preposterous, and they knew it. Like
they were like, "Girl, you were you live in London, and you were in Spain, and then you were in Portugal, and then you were in Italy. And look, I need you to take off your red coat and your hat, Carmen Sandiego, because you're doing an awful fucking lot." Right. Like, you need to chill out. Like, they was like, girl, like, you cannot buy the entire menu at every fucking restaurant along the fucking coast. Like, girl, you can't. Like, what are you doing? Or why are you all these places?
That shit made me so mad.
Are you kidnapped? Like, they had concerns, and rightfully so. Like, bitch, are you being trafficked now? Because what's going on? So here's the thing about white people and credit limits and Amex. If you have an Amex, they fully believe that
they already think that you have mad money.
Right. You have the money to pay for said Amex, unless so they assume that whatever limit you have is within your means. So at the point that they have verified your paychecks and you are getting $94,000 a month, at that point they're just like, okay,
girl. Black card, girl.
Cool. It's literally that. Like, they're going to call, they're going to verify some information. They may ask you to send them those check stubs, which is why he sent them to her, so that she could send them to Amex. And once they got the verification that they needed, the rest of it's on you. If you want your credit to be fucked up, you want your credit to be fucked up. They don't care. Right.
Yeah.
Like, all they're going to do at that point.
Listen, girl, because you need a nigga to make you $94,000 a month.
Stubs to say you make $94,000, girl. Because let's be perfectly frank, right? Like, most people that come into money or become rich, like rappers, entertainers, singers or whatever, they go from like no money to money.
Yeah, right.
They haven't improved their credit score, but they all have fucking Amex Black cards. How do you think they got them? Like,
because they like, oh.
They're telling Amex, I now have a record contract worth $2 million, and Amex is like, we're sending it to you right now.
Right. Well, right.
That's all they care. Did you get it? Make sure.
Right, for real. Like, oh my goodness.
So calling you to check the mail and shit. Did you check the mail today? Did you check the
mail? So then he sends her another one of these fake ass receipts for
$250,000.
Which again is something that con men do, right? Like, I'm giving you way more than what my debt is to you. So now you feel like I should just relax. He's good for it. See, I was giving him such a hard time, and look, now he's giving me more money than he even owes me because he feels bad.
She ain't seen it, but
except for the money ain't never came.
So this is the part where Simon's like, oh, meet my girlfriend Paulina to Pernilla, right?
Yeah.
Stuff. Okay, yeah. And then,
when he first came to Mexico, he calls her and he was like, "Yeah, I got a new girlfriend," and she's like, "Yeah, y'all should meet us out here where we at." She was already
in Mexico. Yeah.
Right. So while this is happening,
he gets the credit card. Basically, he gets the credit card limit raised, and then heads on off to meet his new Russian model girlfriend, Paulina. And that's what Pernilla texted him also, hey, what's up? I ain't talked to you in a couple of weeks. What's good? And he was like, oh, me and Paulina, we're out by the pool having a grand old time. And she was like, you know what you should do? Come to Greece. We're out here having vacation for the summer. You and Paulina should come out, chill with us. And he was like, bet, we on the first thing smoking.
Right. Now, mind you,
so they use Cecilia's Amex and book some flights.
He's going to hang out with Pernilla, with his new girlfriend, Paulina, on Cecilia's money, and every time Cecilia call, or every time Cecilia call, the enemies.
It's the enemies. I gotta go, girl. I can't really be on the phone right now.
We on the move.
Right. He was supposed to come to Oslo to meet her family. Like, he was supposed to go out, like, be out there to visit her family, and he was so busy summering and
I can't come, girl.
I can't come. I'm busy. And like hangs up on her.
Like, enemies is gonna know shit.
Like was very like short and like shitty with her about it. And then after
one thing that fucked me up about that, the enemies, I can't use the credit cards because the enemies are tracking it. My nigga. So ma'am, the enemies was tracking this nigga. Right. But the cops, you couldn't even think to go to the police and be like, yo, help find my boyfriend. The enemies is on him. Something, bitch.
Excuse me, cops. My boyfriend got mad enemies. Okay, I need you to go find him.
The thing about it is that you're saying this is the case, but then you're using this lady's Amex all over the fucking country, and then you're steady taking pictures and posting them.
And then told her, remember the night that he told her that he had to leave?
He deleted that Insta, and then she needs to make hers private.
Because the enemies can find you through me. Bitch, nigga, if they already tracking your multi-billion-dollar ass, they can't track my $60,000 ass credit card. My nigga,
please.
It was so much.
I have a question. So after the credit card limit got raised, wasn't she still sending him money?
So it got raised. And basically they raised it to the point to they're like, we're not raising it anymore. Like, you need to make a payment, or like that's a dumb button. Like, we're not doing that. And so once it was
maxed, get more loans.
Right. So at the point that the credit card was maxed, there was nothing she could do but wait on the payment that he said was going to post, right? So she's waiting on the payment, and in the meantime, she starts taking out loans at other banks for just cash.
Right.
To give to him. So I think she took out $40,000, then it was 50, then it was 12, then it was 10K, like
now,
to the tune of $250 million is what she ended up.
Yeah, it was like like $250,000. I don't know what the laws are in other countries, but what I will motherfucking say is, if you go take out a loan in your same state, if you take them out back to back to back before they find out that you got this many loans out, you can get a lot of shit pulled out, right? So when I'm watching her and she's talking about 9 banks, it really put in perspective how fast he was asking for this motherfucking money, because you were allowed. I
thought the same thing, like, because if you have ever like gotten a loan or like a payday loan, because she's not getting payday loans, but like whatever their equivalent is,
right? Yeah.
So, or like short-term loans or whatever you want to call them. But anytime you do that kind of stuff, if you fill out an application, they ask you, do you have any other loans? Because generally speaking, even though the percentage rates on these are kind of high, there are certain like laws in place where you technically, like, basically to keep you from getting into like, allegedly keep you from getting into ridiculous amounts of debt. So they're required to, because basically, like the truth in lending clauses, like if you answer truthfully and say, yes, well, I do have another loan, they're going to deny it so you don't owe everybody fucking $100,000.
Right.
So she's lying and saying, no, I don't have any other loans. And she's taking out loan after loan after loan. It was 9 different banks. There's no way that if you are dating somebody over any long-term amount of time, that you should be able to reasonably just take out 9 different loans and not pay any of them back.
Thank you. Now, mind you, too, when we found out.
So 2 months tops that they've been dating?
No.
3? Maybe?
Once it gets deeper into the story, they don't bring it up right when he does it. They kind of bring it up towards the third girl for some reason. But the very first time he asked her for money,
it was
1 month. Yeah. That night that he kicked her out, she brought that the $25,000 on the credit card. That was a month into being with each other. So the other $25,000 was probably like a month and a half.
That's what I'm saying. I think this all of this maybe took 3 months for him to bleed.
Oh, you mean the whole thing? Yeah. Probably like
maybe 3 months, if that.
That whole $250,000 in 3 fucking months. Jesus Christ.
The calculations, like the way he's asking for money, like it couldn't have been any longer, right? Because he bled her dry all summer. We'll say the summer was 2 months. So 3 to 4 months top, because after that, she kind of gets wind of what's going on. So,
real talk. Yeah.
Yes, they have like a grand old, like fucking, they have a whole European summer vacation tour on Sicilia's loans.
Yes. They went to the fucking Coliseum. They toured all through Rome. Pernilla said they got picked up in a fucking Rolls Royce Phantom. The Rolls Royce Phantom is what's taking them to all of these motherfucking places. Just expensive dinners. And she's falling for this nigga as a friend because she's getting treated to all of this. She's never given up the box one time. Because he's brought his girlfriend along. She's just enjoying. Yeah. And what better way to make somebody feel comfortable in the sense of, oh yeah, we went out on a date, we don't fuck with each other, but you're reaping the benefits of who I am because I like you as a person. That's why you on these I got my girl with me, Slim. Like, and this is where we are now.
Because
like,
I want you to be here, not because I want to fuck you, because I like you a lot.
Right.
And they tore, yeah. So
Ooh, okay. So this is about the time Cecilia finally was like, I am like Cecilia damn near loses her motherfucking mind. Like it gets bad. So basically she realized she got debt collectors in her Gmail like every day. They calling every day, like they blowing her shit up. She checking her account, the money not coming through. She asking him where the money is, and he basically was like, girl, the money left my account and I don't know what the fuck you want me to do. And
so please stop asking me, basically.
Don't ask me because I did my part. So whenever you get it is when you get it. And the fact that she believed that is crazy to me, but okay. So that's when she was like, look, this is not gonna work out. Like, I'm gonna need my money. And he was like, okay, girl, I'll write you a check. Just come to
Fine, bitch. So, but wait a second. So she gotta find her way to Amsterdam for you to give her some money that you should have already had given her. And why is it so easy to write me a check?
Also, if I can write you a check, nigga, then I should also be able to give you a money order or a certified check,
exactly.
Or better yet, we're in Amsterdam. Where is your bank? I can meet you.
Oh, Jess. Exactly.
Wait, right there. Why don't I? Because the first receipt he sent, he was like, "Yeah, that's just going to the bank." So if you could have did it then, my nigga, why can't you? What he did, we know he didn't do. But like, yeah, why am I now flying to Amsterdam to get a check from you? I think part of the con, and you know what I mean, I ain't no con man, but I'm almost willing to bet in the con man book that some form of physical communication, you know what I mean, or physical touch is required, because you're not gonna, like, I just don't understand getting on that plane and going to get a check. I wish right now one of you niggas would tell me to come where the fuck you are to pick up a motherfucking check. What the fuck are we talking about?
But I think it's a level of desperateness, right? Like you have
exactly.
It's desperation, because at this point, what else do you have but to believe what this person is telling you? You owe 9 banks $250,000. You can't pay your bills. You have $200 in your fucking bank account, even though you make like 60 or 70. Because she's like an engineer, so like she doesn't, like, Cecilia's not stupid. Like she's like stupid, but she's not book stupid.
She's educated.
She's book smart, but she doesn't have any fucking common sense.
She went to school for some shit.
She's making like, let's not, to be fair, like she has an MX of her own, so she's making decent money. She's not making 30K. You know what I'm saying? Like, she has an MX of her own. So
because don't forget, she went from the gold card to the platinum card. Gave it to the nigga. Yeah, it was no question. Yeah.
So it's not as even, like, it's not if she didn't have any money, but you look up and you're making money that should sustain you, and you have money to do things, and your account has $200 in it because you owe all of these creditors and they're still taking payments, and you're like, where is this wire transfer? Of course you get on a plane, because what else choice do you have?
I don't know, VJ. Like
you, my choice would be to bring my pistol and be like, "You're gonna give. I'm leaving here."
But do we have a problem?
So I'm not saying me personally, but I think if I was $250,000 in debt that was crushing me to the point of me being scared of losing everything I have.
Yeah, I feel you. I just don't see him
to maybe get a check. But
my thing is, like, you spent damn near half of what you make in a year and less than a month on this nigga using your credit card. So now when I've eclipsed she doubled, tripled, she quadrupled in what you owe the government, or not government, and what you owe creditors in less than 4 months. You quadrupled your fucking yearly income. Like, somewhere in that, we getting close to 60 should have made her be like, yo, wait a minute, son. Like, you know what I mean? I get the love thing. I get being swindled. I get that there's people who manipulate people out here. But your mind that fucking weak? We got to 250 racks in less than 4 months?
It's crazy. Like, I still don't quite understand how it got that bad, and she kept giving money like that. I just don't think. Like, that's insane. Like, and she seems to be the only person that really kind of got
all the way got
bond out of that much money. But
and 9 banks, bitch. There's not 9 different banks in the city.
That
outside of where you live.
That's wild. Like she was busy. So she goes, gets the check. They have dinner. The check is obviously for more than what her debt is, and so she's like, "Oh, thank you, whatever." So then she immediately gets back home. She says the dinner's just kind of like whatever, and I'm like, "Girl, yeah, because y'all have been on 3 dates in 4 months. Like, of course it's whatever."
Right.
So she takes the check back home, tries to deposit the check. She's waiting. The check never goes through. Basically, she calls him and he was like, "Girl, I don't know what the fuck you want me to say. That's not my business. I gave you the check. If your bank doesn't honor the check, that's on them. Not, hey, I'll call the bank and see what's going on. Not, maybe, check's fucked up. Let me call with them and get it straightened out. Like, or I can send you a wire transfer right now." Like nothing.
The nigga, it was more just like, yeah, like you said, like, bitch, me and Peter chilling. What you calling me about? Like, I'm playing Mario Kart right now. Like, I sent the money. I'm gonna need you to go ahead
and also the crazy part of it that I just thought was very strange. Like, are you saying that in Europe they don't have anything like Zelle or like they have to? Like, European banking system is actually probably a lot better and faster than the one in America.
Yeah, facts.
So for me, it's kind of like you're having me suspend belief and thinking that you don't have anything that's like a share like that, because he should be able to at least send you a couple of grand that way, like in good faith.
Come on, right? Just to keep let me hold you over for a little bit.
Like she could have said, "Hey, she could have said, hey, I really need you to send me, even if it's a couple $1,000s. I need something. I have to pay bills." That nigga could have easily sent her at least 2 or 3 racks that way, cash. Because if you're giving me a check, that means the money's in the account, right?
It's already there,
use
right?
The same fucking account to fucking sell me the money. Like, why would you take a check? Make that man do a transfer from his phone. Your enemies is not tracking your Zelle, bitch, because you use your phone all the time. So they're not tracking your phone, remember? They're checking your credit cards. We all new shit.
Right. Because the nigga, the whole time, and listen, and I know movies ain't TV, but any goddamn spy movie I done watch, every time a nigga getting tracked, he break his phone and get a new one. You got the same phone, Simon. You got the same phone number, same WhatsApp account. Like, nigga, like, to believe,
because looking for you.
Right. We all know that financiers and fucking like just different companies will look at your business transactions. That's why we get certain shit sent to us in the mail, like advertisements and shit. But like,
so weird. Like, it's
I just ain't never had a nigga. I done done some dumb shit in my life, and I ain't never done like big level nigga shit because I ain't never been in the streets like that. But at the same fucking time, a nigga was looking for me. I guarantee you that nigga never once went to any financial institution and was like, "Hey, I'll give you some money if you can tell me where this nigga spending his money at." Like, no. Like, nobody's looking for this nigga through his credit card because they would have been came to your mama house or your house in London looking for him through you, Slim. Like, it's just the level of not thinking in all of this is really
like, wild. Like, she's suspended a lot of belief here. Like, it's amazing. Yes. I pray that nobody else is able to just. Okay, girl, we gonna hope for the best. You need guidance. So basically, she does the only thing she can do. When he's like, "Fuck you, girl, I sent the check." Like, she calls Amex because call the credit card company and tell them you defrauded them, right?
Right.
And she gets on the phone and just has a breakdown, has a little heart to heart. Amex is like, "Actually, girl, now that you've said this, stay put. We'll come to you." Never heard of that.
Thank you. In my notes, I says, "Damn, Amex has a wheel drop by the crib branch." Like, what the fuck?
Honestly, I felt exactly how she felt. I would have definitely hung up the phone and probably moved because, like, that seems like they about to arrest me. Like,
yeah, they put together a fraud case. That's what that is.
Oh, hey, girl, sorry, wrong number. Like, and I'm out. Like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, so they show up and she tells them what happened. She's pulling out there, they're asking about the charges and shit. And she was like, "Yeah, I know I told you I was there, but I really wasn't. He was there. He had my credit card." I
have a question about this interaction. Do you think that she would have done all this had he just been not so fucking frigid with her? Like if he would have been like, if he would have used more flowery like language, like he was usually doing, like
if that nigga would have came home,
would she have gone this far to have the Amex pull-up crew show up? You know what I'm saying?
No.
But if he would have given her $2,000 of her money back, like she wouldn't have bought Amex.
Not at all. And I think for him,
like
what it was, I think
her like the bare minimum payments on those loans, and she'd have been like, "Okay, he's trying," and she would have.
Yeah, I think for him, it's just more the fact of knowing that the con is the con. You know what I mean? Because I think like if you're trying to spend a bitch, and you know, like in this situation, spend a person. I don't want to say bitch. I'm sorry, but spend a person, and you. I know, right? Like it's already in the air, right? If you're trying to spend her, and it's already like to the point to where you know that even if you paid something back, it's still not gonna allow you to spend her again. And I think that's what it was. Like the con was the con because, like, yeah, if he would have went home one of those nights, if he would have, like VJ said, if he would have paid a couple dollars back on the bare minimum requirements, then yeah, the Amex, if Amex would have got caught, it would have took another couple months to a year for her to for real get fed up because she put out $250,000 in 4 months.
That's true.
You wasn't thinking about all the people's on this nigga. You was doing this out of love because you felt like he loved
now that
you.
he's not reciprocating the love, now it's like, oh shit, I fucked up.
Right.
That's all it is. Like he really could have paid the bare minimum and been like, yes, girl, I love you forever. Here's some money, pay your bills. We're gonna make this work. And she'd have been right there. Like, yes, we are gonna defeat your enemies through my loans. She'd have been ready. So basically, she seems like a canary to Amex, and they're like, "Well, do you have a picture?" And then she slides the picture across there, and they was like, "Damn, bitch, you too."
Word.
They're like, oh,
that him? Oh, okay, yeah, girl. So
the fact that it was so clear.
Glad you have pictures because we're not gonna take you to jail today. But just let you know, like you're not the first, and you probably won't be the last. It's gonna keep you still owe some money, girl. Now. But we're not gonna press charges. But you still owe some money.
Right.
We'll be in touch.
Right. Oh man.
It was and then she was like, who is this man I'm sharing my bed with? And it was like, no, baby, y'all shared a bed 2.5 times.
A bed at a hotel.
I'm about to say it wasn't even your bed that y'all shared. Like, what is y'all talking about?
The Four Seasons bed a lot. Like, I don't know. the 2 times.
Unless it's some stuff that they leaving out. This nigga literally seen her twice, fucked her once, and got $250,000.
3 times.
Woo! Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Seen her 3 times. You're right. Again, this nigga's lies have to be something. I've said this before. I'm not proud of it, but I'm one of the best lying niggas I know. I only say that to say that this nigga's lies were horrible. The weakness in these lies. But boy, that execution. Woo-hoo.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna tell flimsy lies, the execution has to be perfect, right? Like
has to be. Whoa. That nigga put that pressure. Yeah, bitch. I'm a diamond heir. We get shot at. Peter me down. 2 days. As soon as I say I want to be with you, cool. Now that you said yes, let me run down this long list of fuck shit that I'm involved in. And every 18 hours, you about to deal with it too. Like, yo, nah. I think I break up.
And the thing, okay, and maybe this is gonna make me sound like a horrible person, but I've broken up with people for less. Like,
yes,
like it maybe, and I don't know if that makes me a shitty person or not, but I've definitely like dealt with a person that we started dating, and then they had a bunch of like crazy ass shit going on in their life, and I was like, look, I don't think this is gonna work. You need to focus on whatever that is. And if we're supposed to work out, then we'll work out. But I just don't feel like you need to be focused on dating. You need to be focused on that shit. And I just let it ride because it had been a month. Like, I'm not emotionally invested in you after a month to where I feel like I need to put up with some crazy ass shit every 2 days.
Exactly, yo.
I once dated a guy who seemed like he was very nice. He was very ambitious. He was trying to get his shit together. But every other day, it was some shit with his baby mama. And then he was like broke, or his check didn't come through, or he couldn't pay his rent, or his mama was making, like, it was all like every other day was something crazy and negative. And I was like, bro, I don't know what you want me to do with this. Like, I don't have it for you. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, like nobody would have thought you were a bad person, girl, if you would have just opted out. Like you could have just opted out.
She just really
Right.
like, and my whole thing about it is,
said, "Hey, I don't want to be involved in your super smuggler, dangerous ass, blood diamond Leonardo DiCaprio cosplay
as
bullshit."
life, right?
Like that's all she had to fucking say, and like it would like, like I don't want to be involved.
But the whole thing, but it was sad too because when she breaks it down and she says, I'm doing this and I really don't have the money, but you think you're taking care of somebody you love. And that really, it didn't make me feel for her, but it did make me think like, we all have had that friend that we looked at like, yo, you moving a little too fast. And even that friend didn't move as fast as this bitch did. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, this was extreme.
You can care about the person you love, but at the point that I know I don't have the money, I'd be like, look, I love you, but you need to call your parents. Right. Like your parents have $1 billion fucking dollars. Like it's not the same. Like nothing. Yes. Like, you're a billionaire. Y'all have
why are you calling me for money? Exactly.
Right.
Like I love you and I care about you, and maybe you don't want to involve them, but if you have enemies who are trying to kill you because of the diamond stuff, then shouldn't they be trying to kill your family too because of the diamond? Like you don't
should be. Like you ain't heard from this nigga daddy not one time.
Like your dad runs it, you don't even fucking run it. So why are they chasing you down? If they kill you, it's not gonna stop the show.
Nothing.
Which I mean, obviously he would be sad if his son died, but if you don't,
right. At the end of the day, Cecilia wanted this nigga to be real. Like,
yeah, that's it. Because girl, because if he doesn't even if he's just the son and none of the shit is his and none of it's in his name, like if he dies, the daddy is just gonna make the daughter go be the diamond broker, and they still gonna have a company. Like, what the fuck?
And they still right.
Like,
right.
Girl, what?
So Cecilia can't take this shit, right? So she go to her mom. She call her mom. She goes to Norway. That's when she goes on to Oslo, right? Blocks him.
Yeah. This nigga.
So she goes to on the voicemail. Just watch out.
Before, let me let y'all get to that. But did y'all peep when she puffed her chest out? I blocked him because there was nothing else to talk about. Bitch, he wasn't talking to you no way.
What was y'all talking about? Like,
hey, do you think the transfer is gonna come through?
That was it.
I sent the check already. Right. You got the check. You picked up the check, remember?
Right. That nigga emotionally blocked you after he fucked.
It hit all it did, it just hit that she was not getting her money back. Like,
yeah. Yep.
Like, I don't know, like, girl. So she blocked him, and I guess that's when she realized she wasn't gonna get the money. He didn't give a fuck. She blocked him, but I think she blocked him so that she wouldn't message him anymore, begging for her money. Like, I really think
it was for her own sanity. You're right.
And so then he calls the mama, and it's like threatening on the voicemail.
Right.
Wait, with them thin ass threats. Oh my god! And then he kept.
That nigga said.
I just want to say,
I don't know.
If anybody ever told me some shit like that, I would just pick up the phone and call them back and be like, bitch, if you ever call my mama again, I'm going to really come to where you are with a pistol. Like, who the fuck are you talking to?
The next plane trip I come is the last plane trip I'm coming on.
Right.
Oh my God.
Like, enemies? But look, enemies now?
But this nigga literally threatened her. His message says, I see you blocking me on WhatsApp. I don't know why, but this is not going to turn out good for you. Because I blocked you on WhatsApp, nigga? You threatened me and my mama, nigga?
And that's what thank you. All she had to do was unblock him and be like, you must motherfucking forget that you owe me $250,000. As a matter of fact, give me the address of your enemies that are looking for you. We finna team up.
I'll go in this shit.
Like, don't worry about it. We finna team up, ho. You think so that now? You better not never get off the plane, ho. I'm gonna be at every episode. I don't understand. See, and maybe that's my natural inclination. If you get out of pocket and start talking to me crazy, I'm finna ratchet up the crazy to a place so you don't never call back on no bullshit. You done already took $250,000. You go also try to take my dignity, child. It's no way. No, they called and they called 112. He's
girl, called the police. The police was like, "Oh, girl, well that's cool, but like we gotta have evidence and shit." And so then she started driving, and she thinks she like, "Fuck, I was about to kill myself because I can't deal with this shit."
She checked
and then she checks herself into a
hospital. And that's not funny, y'all. I'm not laughing at mental health. I'm really not. But goddamn, girl, all you had to do was pick up the phone and call that nigga back and tell him, bitch, if you ever in your life call his phone, you know really wrong some enemies. Like, who the fuck are you talking to? You owe me money, ho. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, like this. The tables are turning, my nigga. Please don't. Like,
right.
So that's so nice about shit. And then I was like, okay, girl, you can't be nice to nobody to owe you that much money. So
now Simon is blowing Pernilla up because
now he's like, well, that's done. Time to move on.
And he hits Pernilla when he calls her. He hits Pernilla with the exact same.
He starts saying articles, news articles.
Right. The first one was the articles. You're right. The girl jumped off the roof. They're looking for Lev Leviv's son. Lev Leviv is about to stand and have to answer some questions to the motherfuckers.
His credit cards are getting cut off again, so it's the same story. He just amped it up a little bit because it wasn't. Says
that the federal government is looking for them on these drug smuggling charges, or the not drug smuggling,
diamond smuggling,
and that they had frozen all of their assets and credit cards.
They threw the bloody picture of your boy up there again.
Yeah, so he ran the same game, but now the articles were a nice touch, right? Because then it made him slightly believable,
right?
Because then he was like, I don't believe that lady committed suicide. She was pushed off the building. Right. This is what he does.
Right.
But I do want to keep in mind that never once in any of these articles do they say Simon Leviev. Like
never. They never say his name. They never say his name. They don't even say specifically that they're looking for a son.
Nope.
Ever.
They're talking about Lev and LLD Diamonds.
Period. Because keep in mind, this whole time, he is his son. He is not the CEO. He is not listed on the website. Like, these girls are going to LLD Diamonds, seeing Lev Levy, and
being like, oh, okay.
And no mention of Simon. Because he does not own shit up in there. It is not his.
He's not even associated with it.
Called himself Prince of Diamonds, and it's like, what? Like,
all right, nigga, you're doing nothing. Because I think what got old girl is when she remember she said you Google everybody, and when he sent her the flight information or whatever it was, the email address said LLDdiamonds.com, and
it
so when she went.
It did say .co. It definitely didn't say .com. It would have been like at LLDdiamonds.org or .edu. Like, what is that?
Right. Like, it was .co, and I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah, and I think that nigga just, you know how you can pay to tie your shit to, like, if you got a backdoor motherfucking email address and you pay to tie it to a company, that company is going to come up as soon as you type that shit in.
.co is not a common prefix.
Well, that either. It should be a .com or just .com when it comes to a business.
It would be a .com. So the fact that it was a .co means it's something that he purchased himself and was just using.
And it was using exactly. Yeah, he just tied it to their shit.
And she just wasn't paying attention, unfortunately.
He just literally went to GoDaddy and just made it.
Yeah, and made a site.
Right.
So this is when he asked Pernilla for $30,000. Because of all of the things I just showed you and Peter bleeding and shit. So I need $30,000. And then at the same time, Cecilia is like super desperate for like anything. Cause like now she got that scare or whatever. She had to block this nigga, whatever. So she calls Amex back like, all right, my nigga, y'all came to my house. So I know y'all in this shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, tell me something, right? Right. And Amex just says, why don't you Google a name? And the name that Simon, which just looked like Simon with an H in it.
With an H.
Simon
Hayut, right.
Hayut.
So she Googles this. She finds a Finnish article. She translates it, and it basically is like the Israeli multi-millionaire, quote unquote, cheated on women.
Right.
So basically, in 2015 he defrauded 3 Finnish women, and he went to jail for 3 years for it. Basically.
Right.
Now he wasn't always Simon Lviv in this. He was sometimes an arms dealer. He was sometimes in the military, right? Like
sometimes he was a Mossad agent.
Yeah, he was a Mossad agent. And his cover was a pilot.
Yeah, one time he had a pilot once. Yeah, so at this point, Cecilia's like, nah, I'm gonna tell somebody else because this shit's crazy. So she says, I'm gonna go to VG, the biggest newspaper in Norway. I'm gonna tell these people. So this is when we meet Natalie, Christopher, and Erland.
Yes.
Right.
And so they were like, girl, that's a remarkable story. Do you have proof?
And she's like, proof? I have 400 pages of WhatsApp to send you.
Let's just hold on just a second. I have pictures and videos and Amex statements. And she was like, at first I felt weird, but then I just let them. And so they were going through her Amex statements. They're going through all these WhatsApps.
The WhatsApp, the Amex, the banks. Text. Well, I guess the WhatsApp was the text messages because it was
another thing. She also had his phone number. So why the fuck was he messaging her on WhatsApp?
Because it's international. And it's easier.
It's international. It's encrypted.
You ever text somebody international? Have you ever texted an international number? You can get charged for that shit, like as if it's a long distance
you
call.
can get charged, but also,
WhatsApp is where our group chat is. So like,
but WhatsApp, like when I used to talk to the girl over in Sweden, like she hit me with that. I met her over here, and she was like, "Yo, you got WhatsApp?" I'm like, "What the fuck is that?" She was like, "An easier way for us to talk." So I signed up for that shit, and that's how you talk internationally.
Okay, so they were WhatsApping internationally, and then when he would be in the same city or country as her, then he would.
Then call her, yeah.
He would call her on WhatsApp. He was
calling through WhatsApp, because now too, I think if you call, WhatsApp
nigga,
use your real phone number.
I just thought about this.
Yeah, right. This nigga was WhatsApping the shit out this bitch.
Yeah.
Wow, it was the same.
That's what I said, and that's why I asked, because I was like, I thought WhatsApp was what people use internationally, but I was just confused why he was still using it like all the time, like even whenever, like
because it was easier so he could talk to the rest of the bitches.
Probably so. That's good. Makes sense. I was just like, whatever, that makes sense. So I guess she Googles the women, and then she doesn't really recognize who the fuck any of them are until she realizes that the baby mama with the baby is one of the Finnish victims.
So
basically, lady went from victim to like part of the con and just
accomplice,
she went from victim to just under 2.5 years.
Hey, but you know what it made me think though? It made me really wonder, like, was that really his kid? Was it really some shit like, yo, this bitch got swindled, and in the swindle he ended up knocking her up, and she was like, hey nigga, look, this the payback, because I turn your ass to fuck, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or
so here's the thing. I think that it is his kid. And I think you're right. I think that they were dating and she ended up pregnant and that is her baby and that's his kid. But he definitely swindled her out the money.
Yeah.
Or he swindled her out the money and then was able to sweet talk his way back in and they ended up with a fucking baby.
Right.
Or that part too. Yeah, real shit.
Right.
Because she was on the plane, hyping Cecilia up like, yeah, girl, he's a great dad and he is taking care of us with your swindled money that he's about to swindle out of you. But I'm saying this part of my head about the swindling.
Right. She's probably looking that bitch up and down like, my baby about to get some new boots, bitch. Thank you.
Like, right.
And she's like, yeah, of course I was asking her questions. And the ladies in there like, of course I was asking this bitch about her bank accounts and her statements. My baby needs Gucci, like, quickly.
Right.
So, okay. So then they find out that Shimon Hayut and Simon LeVay are the same person. And so in 2017, he changed his name to Simon LeVay. And this is after he got charged.
I have a quick question. Did he get plastic surgery?
No.
No, he wanted to.
Did he just lose weight? No. I know that part, but I'm talking about when they first revealed that these niggas is the same person, and they showed that original picture. He does not look like that to me. Like I don't know if he something changed. Like I think
he lost weight and maybe started
and then got the facial hair.
Yeah, started growing facial hair. Maybe I think he combed his hair back differently because honestly, this is unrelated, but like. they showed a picture, like, Tom Brady retired, and they were showing a picture of when he got drafted, and his face is fucking fat, and he's got that floppy ass hair, and he's pale and gross looking. And then, like, they showed a picture of him later, and he's tan, and his hair is, like, cut better, and he's slimmed down. It's money, girl. It's money.
Oh, okay. It's
better,
swindling. I got it.
Dressing better, you lose weight. Like, yeah. Like,
okay. All right.
I don't think he got surgery. I think he just, like, had money to look better.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. That shit was, like, really bothering me.
Yeah, because I thought, I looked at it, oh my God. But then I realized he was like 17, and then, like, we're looking at him at, like, 26. So that's fair.
Right.
So he changed his name in 2017 to Simon LeVay from Shimon Hayut. But he also has other names that he goes by, like Michael Benton and Mordecai. Mordecai Shapiro.
That was my favorite.
Like,
if I'm just picking names out of a bag, it's never gonna be Mordecai for me.
Ever.
Mordecai Shapiro, because how do you blend that in? That is a very distinctive name.
Yeah,
and with every name, he was from Israel.
Yeah,
except for Michael Benton.
Right. Yeah. Right.
He was from like Pennsylvania or some shit.
Yeah, he was from Pennsylvania when he was Michael Benton.
But even as Mordecai, I've never met a Mordecai from the Middle East. I'm pretty sure they're there, but that's just a name to be thrown out there. But anyway.
Yeah, so 2011, he was charged with theft for stolen checks and shit in Israel. He just, like, basically jumps bail and dips and becomes a new person on a stolen passport. Yeah. So at this point, Pernilla's in for like 40K because, like, she sends him another 10K via transfer after the first 30. Yes. And when she doesn't get his money back,
after she's questioned him about the 30,000, and he's just like, "Oh, girl, don't trip, but let me get another 10." And she's like, "Oh, okay." Like,
are you sure? Is it going to be okay?
Yeah, he hit her with the same shit.
Somebody who paid the bill for her for 2 months. She's like, "Oh God, okay." Like, again,
and then he texts her a picture, another picture of a bank receipt that he sent her 100,000. So now this is 60,000 more than what she's given to him. Again, part of the con, right?
Right. So then, right after that, she's like, "Hey, it didn't go through," and he was like, "But the bank needs me there in person to sign some papers and stuff, and that's why it didn't go through. Can you book me a flight on your Amex?"
I don't.
And then she kept booking flights for
everybody.
Over and over.
What the fuck do Peter need to go fly somewhere for you to go to the bank with me? Like, what are we talking about here?
Right. And you gotta take your whole entourage to the bank, nigga.
The baby and the baby mama gotta go too.
Like, please make it stop. Please make it stop.
Like your chest of Gucci sweaters needed to go to the bank, or what are we talking about? Like,
so instead of him going to the bank, though, he's like, "Oh, girl, okay, so why don't you just come out to where I'm at now that you got me here, and I'm just gonna give you this watch, and you could just sell this watch, and it's worth 100,000." What? Because he knows.
Why isn't she asking the question?
Well, no, at this point,
bitch, you sell the watch and send me the money.
You sell it. I want cash.
But look, though, the watch, though. At this point, the watch, the news is already involved. So at this point, she got to take them, and I think that's why she just. Because you're right. Why wouldn't a motherfucker just be like, "Yo, you gonna sell the watch and send me the money"? You know what I mean? But I think now that the news is involved, Erland is involved, Yuri's involved. Like, yo, was it just me? Sometimes I think everything we watch is authentic, but sometimes I'm just like, yo, certain shit is just luck of the draw. When they went to that nigga crib, or the crib that they found his last name
and
in,
the mama showed up outside, that was just whatever. Because if the mama went out, they knocked on the door, nobody would have came, because he owes people money and he was swindling people in Israel first.
Yeah,
and it was already letters in the door and shit, so they already know that nigga is a swindler and shit. And then he changed.
Mama said she ain't seen that nigga in 10 years.
Exactly, right. They already know what's up. So those are not.
Who the fuck is sleep?
Those probably aren't the first people.
Josh. Yes, I'm so sorry. Hold on.
Oh my god.
I thought the dog was knocked the fuck out.
No, nigga, that is my boyfriend. That's my boyfriend. After he worked until 5 and then got up and coached kids
why did
for
I
football.
like, Athena, is that you? Oh, I thought it was the dog. Oh, thank God.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I thought it was the dog. I looked at the floor, was like, bitch. She's not even in here. Okay.
Ooh, that man is tired. I ain't mad at that.
He really is. And oh my God.
He's okay. It was just funny.
It threw me off because like
I really thought it was the dog because she snores. And so when I looked and she wasn't there, I was like, what?
Earlier, and I was like, well, maybe it's somebody's air conditioner.
I can't even edit that out. So it's just
it's fine. Good. We don't care. She didn't even sleep. It's okay.
It's just I only asked because I heard it earlier, and I was like, is that somebody AC? Then I was like,
I keep trying to
muting your shit and coming back on.
Yes.
Lord. That's what I thought you were doing, but girls, it's all right.
It's all good. Yeah.
So yeah, Pernilla like meets him for coffee or whatever the fuck they be doing, and she's telling him, he gives her a watch, and then I guess the people with the camera show up, and she's like, "Are those people filming you?" Because she has to act like she don't know nothing, and they get into this car chase and shit.
He's like, "It's my enemies." Like your enemies got all of the resources. I was trying not to say it. You know you had to.
The enemies again.
Nigga, the enemies are trying to take my picture and shit. Like,
so then they get in the car and they just driving real fast for no reason. And then he lets her out, and she was just like, whatever, this is a lie. Put me out the car. Takes the watch. Of course, the watch is fucking fake because they're all fakes. And so then she's on the phone with him, crying and begging for him to like fucking stop being a con man.
Can you please just tell me the truth? Huh? Just tell me the truth. I already know that you conned the 3 finished people. Just tell me the truth. He's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And you up here talking on here with this bullshit, and that's why you're gonna get what the fuck is gonna happen to you. Like,
right.
Yeah. And that's his favorite thing to say. There, for every action, there's a reaction.
What's a reaction?
What's the motherfucking reaction, Simon? The fuck your ass gonna do? You ain't even
the action was I gave you money. The reaction was you were supposed to pay me back, bitch.
I don't know his motherfucking ass. What's the reaction, ho? You don't be nowhere for a day. So what you gonna react to do?
What is the reaction? Like, come on. Like, what are we doing?
You gonna react and do? Show up at my house, surprise? Like, you ain't like. You gonna have my passport revoked? Like, what the fuck are you gonna do, Simon? Your stupid ass is begging for money from every bitch across the eastern seaboard, but you want me to believe you can beat my ass? Get the fuck out of here!
Fuck out of here, nigga! Right.
She wild for even entertaining that. They all keep saying he was threatening me and it was scary. Was it? Were you scared? Why?
You didn't even know this nigga.
Like, what you scared of? Like, the fuck? Like, I'm like, okay. So the article comes out, and this is when we meet the only smart bitch in the whole goddamn shit. Hey, Eileen, girl.
Eileen,
have drinks. If you would like to be on Odd Doctor, we would love to have you here because you're our people.
We like you.
Truly.
We like you. You have good Midwestern sensibility, girl. We would like to have you here.
Real shit. Somebody make sure Eileen see this.
She needs to be on. We need to have wine. We need to talk, girl, because you're the only one with any goddamn sense.
Right.
So Eileen was the only person who actually had a real relationship with Simon, apparently. They were dating for 14 months.
Right.
And somewhere he got bored and decided he needed more money. And so instead he was gonna swindle Cecilia in the middle of all of this. Bless Cecilia. Oh my God. You know how crazy that is? That man had a girlfriend, was just chilling, living his life, and was like, fuck this. Time for a new mark.
Right. This nigga literally took videos in the same shirt and suit jacket and sent it to like all 3 bitches.
Like he just kept like putting in different names and sending the same video. Oh my God. The same fucking receipts, the same fucking tired ass video of Peter. Like
Peter shit. The same ambulance video. Like nigga.
Oh shit. Like he's left Eileen when he went to go see Cecilia in Oslo. He left Eileen and went to go do that, told her it was business. Like just whatever.
Took Cecilia to Amsterdam where Eileen lived and shit. But
so they was all everybody was shopping for houses. So Eileen sits with us and she says, I was getting on the plane. I see the article. She was like, shit, that's my boyfriend. She sends him the article. And then she gets on the plane. And she was like, we'll talk about this when I land. Right. So she gets on the plane, reads the article, gets off the plane, contacts the people, and was like, so, hey, guys, he took some of my money too. And I would really like to help you catch him. But first, I need to get my money back. So we just have to put this on pause.
Right. I got your back, but we got to get this nigga first.
Okay. So she decides that she's going to swindle him. And she's like, I don't know how to get my money back, but I got to figure it out. He tells her he's in Prague in the Czech Republic and he has no money. And so Eileen is playing it cool. I love you. I believe you. Oh, your enemies sent Pernilla and this one and Cecilia, and it's just a way to get to you. Word. And da-da-da-da-da. I believe all that. I love you. I believe children are the future. Magical. Let's go. So as good as Eileen feels, she says, yeah, I can get you some money. He's like, no, I really need the money. I'm hiding out. And this is because he can't swindle anybody. The articles got him hot. Like, he can't get on the internet and like get money from women.
Right.
Now, why y'all coming here with that? Sit down.
So, hold on.
So yeah, there's like, so he's begging her for money, and he tells her to sell her house and her car.
He said,
pawn your car.
He said, pawn your car. Right. Because he was going to give her the money to get it back, right? Like,
to get it back, yeah. Like, so that's just more, you putting this bitch in more debt. Like, damn, G.
How does one pawn a car? I'm just curious. I've never, you can do that?
Loan. I guess a title loan, right?
Yeah. Yep. That's the way I know to do it.
Oh, okay.
You give somebody, you turn your title over to somebody, you sign a contract with them. If you don't pay the money with back whatever the contract stay,
they get your car.
They take your title down to the DMV and switch that shit into their name, and that's their car. Like, you keep your car, but if you don't pay them back, legally they take your title down to the DMV, switch it over, then they come take your shit from you.
What? Okay. Well, news.
It's like a payday loan, but with your car.
On your car. So like with collateral.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, that's different. Okay.
I wouldn't do that raggedy shit.
It's some shit. It's some shit that's real. It is real raggedy. That's the word.
Like, I was like, that seems very predatory. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, he was gonna have her do some predatory shit and be further in debt, which is right on. It seems part of the course.
Eileen gave him, I think, $140,000.
I think over the course of like.
Over the course of them dating. Yep.
Yeah. So she's mad now, right?
Yeah.
And so she was on her way to a plane on a way somewhere. I can't remember where. But so she puts her phone on airplane mode, she reads the article and all that shit like that. Once she lands, she sends it to
before. She sent it to him before and then put the plane on.
You're right. So that he was blowing her up this whole time. And then when the time that she landed, he was like, oh, that shit fake. Like, my enemies paid Cecilia and Pernilla to make this article. Like, what? Like, so now your enemies are publishing houses. Like, I'm just trying to understand, like, where's the beef? Like,
people. Like, it's very confusing.
Where's the beef? Like,
your motherfucking enemies have got in touch with two random bitches to make up a story about you.
We want y'all to come together and make a story up about this nigga so we can take this nigga down.
Yeah, but then it's like when the article comes out, they find out that he was swindling everybody. It wasn't just Tinder dates, right? Like there was one family that said they let him live with him because they thought he was the son of like a influential rabbi they were from, and like a church, and they thought they were just being kind, like all kinds of shit. He was
he's not even everybody. Just swindling bitches. Like there's like families and dudes. Like it's a whole.
It's a whole thing. And so he had a new debit card or credit card delivered to Eileen's house under the name David Sharon. So she already knows he's trying to get a new identity together.
Right.
She goes ahead, takes the picture, sends it to the cops. And so she was like, "Hey,"
she reached out to Pernilla too, right?
Yeah, that's what she told him. She was like, I'm gonna help y'all, but y'all gonna have to wait a second because I gotta get my baby. Like I'm gonna help. Like
he was babysitting for a family too.
Right?
How you babysitting and y'all never be there? Like, you them kids were sitting in front of the TV with fucking Pop-Tarts for 2 days.
Oh my god! Right. The baby was the baby that he said was his kid. Like,
right.
That's his form of babysitting.
Hey, I'm nannying this weekend. Bring that fucking baby with you. Like,
she don't ever
not taking my baby to shady deals though. Like,
and look, that's the way he's justifying it. I mean, I did take her to another country. I'm
not show you the world
she's ever had. She's seeing the world. We're learning new languages.
Right.
Listen,
don't trip. Don't even trip.
Eileen is like, I can't sell my car or my house because that'd be fucking stupid. But what I can do is, she's the only smart one, right? She's like,
I'm getting my money back.
She was like, but you're rich, sweetie. Why don't we sell some of your rich people stuff?
Now Eileen works in luxury fashion, right? So this works for her and her con very well because he's like, okay, bitch, you would know some brokers or some people that would want to buy this like upscale shit, and you could probably give me top dollar for it. So he's like, he's like, fine, right? So she basically played into his lies, and so she went to him. They go to a plastic surgeon. This is when Eileen was over his shit. So she's the whole time she's there, she's having to pretend like she's still in love with him, kissing him, letting him kiss on her, like whatever. So they go to the plastic surgeon. She's like, what the fuck are we doing here? He goes to the doctor and he's like, hey, my nigga, look, I'm trying to change this. I'm trying to change this, these, maybe this. And he's like, are you a fucking fugitive, my nigga? Get out of my office. Like, he's like, you're like, literally trying to change your whole...
He wanted the face-off special, and the surgeon was
wanted the John Travolta.
That is for international criminals. So sorry. Won't be doing that.
Right. You would have had to come and come in here with a gun at my head to make me do this to you. Like,
and so then the crazy part is this. After they do this shit at the surgeon, they're just acting like shit's cool. Like he didn't just try to get a new face.
Right. Oh, like, okay, so that didn't work out. Let's go eat dinner. Like, and the whole time I'm like, who paid for this? Like, who is paying for this?
The question, like, he keeps going everywhere and ordering everything on the menu, and it's like, well, with what money? Like, you said you didn't have any money. Why are you buying the whole?
I couldn't consciously sit at another dinner with him at this point. Like, because who the fuck is paying for this? Like, I can't even enjoy my food because I'm like trying to like order the cheapest shit because I don't know what bitch you fucking trying to fucking.
Right,
like Camilla, when they went to dinner, and she was like, I just kept sitting there thinking about who was paying for this. But bitch, you let him order the whole menu.
He literally was like, I ordered everything on the menu.
Yeah. And she should have been like, well, you need to tell them you don't want that because that's too much for two people.
And what was he going to... Yeah, right. That nigga was going to be like, no, keep it pushing. Because the homie was there that night, too. And it's like, like, I feel you. Because, like, and then you really can't sit up with a nigga like that and be like, yo, let me just get water. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that nigga is like... Being,
she had to
on a date with somebody like that. Yeah. But, yeah, that whole situation was...
Yeah, so... Eileen gets there, they kick it. So when it gets time for her to leave, she packs up 3 suitcases full of designer clothes and shoes and sunglasses. She takes it back to her home. She gets to ironing the shit up all nice, putting it on hangers.
Steaming it and shit.
Mama pops up in that Facebook marketplace and that eBay and gets to work. And she starts selling the clothes. And she said he was calling her, texting her, blowing her up. And she was just like, oh, I haven't sold anything. Oh, I haven't sold anything. Oh, I haven't sold anything.
She was selling shit.
And she was meanwhile just racking up. And like she gets a message from somebody placing like a bid on something of his like during the interview. And she's like, and they're like, still selling his clothes? And she's like, yeah.
Girl, yes.
You thought I stopped trying to get my money back because y'all came here? Like, what the
bitch, I was serious. Like,
y'all got no checks, so yeah.
Exactly.
He writes her a letter, and he's basically like, the letter is like a pep talk. Like,
Bitch, I love you. You love me. The enemies is out here. Hold it tight. Keep that shit right.
Sell those clothes. Get this money.
Right.
He did fuck around and find out. That's
He
exactly
really
what
did.
happened. So
Guys,
he starts sending photos of himself living in hostels, unshaven, unkempt.
Before this, the voicemails. Before he starts to be like, "Oh, I'm the homeless king," the voicemails.
To Eileen.
To Eileen, when he realized she was not sending him any of that money.
Oh yeah, it was like it don't take no 3 weeks.
Bitch, I'll
right?
You trying to fucking?
Who the fuck are you playing with? Oh, I'm so sorry. I spoke to you like that. I'm just really desperate. Fuck you, stupid whore. I hope you die. Oh, just kidding. I love you. You're gonna be the mother of my kids.
Right? Yeah, like this nigga was. He knew he had got conned too. I think that's what it was. That nigga emotion was just all over. Like,
I mean, niggas get very upset when you do the things that they do to you. Like they get the upsettest. Like,
can't believe you would do the fuck shit that I do. What's wrong with you?
Bitch, like, so just so to be clear, you took my shit, told me you was gonna do something with it, and then you did something completely different with it?
Who would do that? Who in the fuck would do that?
What kind of fucking sick person?
You're a psychopath. Takes people out of their fucking money after taking their stuff. You sick bitch. I know. God damn.
Bitch, it's been 14 months. You
Listen,
do this to me?
You don't do it. You do as I say. You don't do as I do.
Hey, that nigga
he said, "You taking a piss off
fuck.
of me." Like, nigga, you so mad you're not even cussing right. Like,
I never heard that before. I was like, what? The piss?
Look, that nigga.
I'm
that
taking
nigga
the piss out of you.
Right. Like, you're not pissed off. I'm just literally taking it out of you.
I'm taking the piss out of you. Like,
this nigga, this nigga hit her with a Jay-Z line. I was just fucking them girls. I was gonna get her.
Send me 30,000.
It was so much.
So now he's taking the pictures. He's gotten his hair grown out, right? Because times are so hard. He's showing pictures where he's like living in a hostel on a bunk bed. Bitch, I'm the homeless king.
Right. Your daddy ain't looking out for you at all.
At all. Eric, this is what I'm saying.
Diamond fortune, and you are living in a $12 a night hostel in Prague and eating leftovers at the mall food court.
Come on.
He was eating leftovers. Like, so you really like.
That's what he
You went from ordering the menu to digging out niggas' chow mein from Panda Express. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
And the part that's confusing to me is I feel like there is something between the whole menu and that, right? So
right.
So you're telling me that when you took Pernilla out, you maxed out everything you had, couldn't get anything else, and instead of you being like, "Damn, I probably need to like meter this money," you were just like fucking balls to the wall. Like, what did you do between the whole menu and the fucking Panda Express out the trash? Like, what did you? What was in between?
Like what? Right? How did we get from the end of the menu?
Because I mean, I'm not rich, but I've never had to stay at a $12 a night hostel, so I feel like there's a sweet spot.
There has to be like. Like one entree for everybody at the table versus like
I feel like you could just like hit the McDonald's and also stay at like Red Roof Inn. Like I don't know. Like
right.
There's something
you eat McDonald's in the room and shit. Like
yeah, like there was something in between and he just wasn't doing it. So how the fuck did he get to this hostel?
He asked Eileen for a plane ticket to Greece.
He does. And so Eileen, so then when she messages him back, she realizes that he's offline.
He's already on his way.
Yeah, she was like, "Hey." So Eileen, being the smart bitch that she is, she Googles and says, "Well, what the fuck flight would be in the air right now?" And sends that information to the authorities, and they arrest his ass. Yay!
They arrest him. But he got his phone to be like, "I got arrested," or was that after?
I think it had to be after he got let out. It's got to be.
Right.
I just thought that was a little confusing.
Right.
But also like those jails are different, and he might have just had his phone because they be having Xbox.
It's so different that he was sentenced to 15 months for the shit that he did in Israel, but he got out after 5.
And the shit he did in Israel,
and they have been looking for him for years. Yeah. Nigga, I'm not about to be looking for you for years and then I'm gonna just let you get off with 10 extra months off. Like,
I don't think they was looking for that nigga. It just so happened you did some dumb shit, you left, and now somebody made a big deal of it. So we gotta get you,
right?
because you're not gonna tell me a nigga's all over the internet.
Shit. Like it wasn't even. It wasn't for the swindling. It was for the falsifying documents and the passport.
Right.
He was only in jail for like 5 months.
Right.
He was considered nonviolent.
So he gets out. Does he reach out to Cecilia or Pernilla or Eileen? No. He just starts a website offering business advice for $311 per workshop.
And he's looking for niggas like Scoots.
And he is just out here, still posting pictures.
I guarantee you those workshops is literally how to bag a bitch and break her.
Yeah. I'm curious. Hi guys, if we start,
if we listen, we'll start a Patreon. Y'all can buy us one of those fucking workshops, and we will fucking come back and spill all
and tell you everything. Like, listen, if y'all for like $1,
listen, we will tell everything.
I guarantee y'all, like, if this nigga stays out of jail and that website flourishes, give it about 6 months, you're gonna see him on Fresh and Fit podcast, because those niggas seem like they were running the same type of circle. Like, you gonna teach us how to be more disrespectful to women? But come through, my nigga. Come through.
Oh my god.
Fresh and Fit might not have him on though, because he disrespects white women, and we know.
Right?
We know how they feel about. They don't.
Yeah. So the end of the story is that Simon is out of jail, and he is him and Paulina broke up because Paulina was like, hey, I don't date broke jailbirds, because she's a Russian model.
They said that she broke up with him because he was cheating, but like
she broke up with him because she's a Russian model and she's 14.
And she's looking for a nigga that got real money.
Which is why, because keep in mind, like, he didn't scam Paulina.
At all.
Right.
She was on for a ride.
Yeah, he didn't scam Paulina. So we already know what was up there. She was like, I don't pay for shit, but I don't tell you. So yeah. Simon is out doing the same shit, driving around in expensive cars and wearing
living in Israel.
Outfits.
He's been back on Tinder, but I think as of now, he's not. He can't be on Tinder anymore,
right? Basically, he's kicked off of everything. Like, I think the only
any dating site,
FarmersOnly.com.
I think
he about to help bring Black Planet back. Watch,
because that's all he can do at this point.
That's what the workshop is, nigga.
I think all he's got left is like J Date or Christian Mingle.
Yeah.
That's all.
I mean, he gonna have to get rid of that heavy ass accent for like the niggas on that website to fuck with him.
That's why I said J Date.
That nigga did sound like a robot. You know, like when you do
like you do those recordings, like he was certain parts of it sounded like robotic. I thought the same thing, and I was like, why does he sound like that? Like, like it sounded like he was like using his phone to dictate like the voice note. It was weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the filmmakers did ask him to, come and tell his side of the story, I'm assuming. And he just, because, he loves a good voice note, he sends them a voice note and he's like, basically, I'm going to sue y'all. But like, are you? Like,
are you really, though? you ain't came through on one threat yet, nigga. Like, we still waiting on
niggas still don't know what your enemies even look like. So like,
okay, it's a little bit left. Enemies.
You can finish it up. We're done.
Right.
Goddamn enemies.
Oh, guys. While we told you a bunch of shit, I'm sure that there's like little nuances that if you guys watch it on your own, you will thoroughly enjoy it. I can guarantee it.
It was a good watch. Like, it's well.
It really was.
The other thing I will say, by the way, like, if you were interested, it's not my ministry, not my altar that I worship at. I just want to make that very, very clear before I say anything else. Those women did not get paid anything for their art, for their contributions to this documentary. Which the way it was explained to me is that, generally speaking, when you are making documentaries, you do not pay subjects of documentaries, because then there's a possibility that they will lie or say or embellish the truth or fabricate things. to make it more interesting or exciting because you have paid them.
But
and
what
if
about
somebody
after?
comes back and says that it's not true, then they can say, well, you paid them. How do we know any of this is true? However, I said in this case, that seems ridiculous because when they sat down to do these interviews, there was already a whole vetted VG article about all of this. So you not paying them for their interview seems crazy because you should be able to verify anything that they said.
Yeah, true shit.
So I thought that was weird, but I digress. They did not do any type of deals or with the production company or with Netflix. So they are still paying back the debt that they owe. Like they still owe that money. They're still paying it back because they didn't make any money from this situation.
Right.
They have a GoFundMe.
They do.
They're trying to raise $600,000. If you would like to donate or feel like their story touched you in your spirit of stupidity, like that, and you can go right on over there and donate your dollars. I, for one, don't have dollars to donate to stupidity, but it's there. Thank you. It's there. I'm just letting you know. Maybe stupid is not the right word, but that is a con that I think that you maybe could stop at like the first, like the credit card shit. So I don't know what to tell baby girl. So I hope everybody is able to get their money back or get some money, but I just won't be donating. But you can if you would like to. It's there. They have a GoFundMe if you feel touched and want to donate.
Only thing I want to say is like, Cecilia, get the fuck off of Tinder, bitch. Like,
because now you're the girl that got swindled out of $250,000.
Right. That's literally my point. That's literally my point. Because a nigga that's about to do like 25% of that is now going to be trying to match with you.
But what if a nigga like for real? There might be some nigga that's on there like, oh, I just want to take care of her. Let me show you a better life. Like,
and someone because she's pretty and blonde, and somebody will do it. A 2020 special about a Russian girl who did a similar thing to her friend. Are you talking about Anna Delvey?
Probably. Look, she always be knowing. Like, she
that would be Anna Delvey. That's not her real name, but there's actually a Netflix show that just came out. Right? Inventing Anna, that is loosely based on the Anna Delvey case. But yeah, she defrauded her friends out of money. So that was interesting. I actually plan on covering it on Murder V Road, even though nobody got murdered, because I think it's interesting how white people are able to like con and never go to jail. It's fascinating, but
Word.
Well, as I told Scoots, there are way better. As I told Scoots, there are way better con artists than Simon Levy, and Adele being one of them because she got millions of dollars off her friends. Didn't have to speak to a single person.
Right. Look, did not tell nobody she loved them or nothing. Okay. So, guys, the Tinder Swindler is on Netflix. It's like an hour and like 50 minutes, but it is definitely worth your time. But if we did a good enough job, then it was a good watch.
Yeah, tweet us. Talk to us about it. We love it. We like talking to you. We love talking about it. I've been talking about the Tinder Swindler at length because red flags and confusion. Before we go, I just will say this bottle is very empty, but it was delicious. You should check out Splash Wines. They got some good ass wine. But I will also say this. Hi, if people are trying to swindle you, the first thing they're going to do is spend exorbitant amounts of money on you and love bomb you in an attempt to get you to trust them so they can then ask you for money after a month.
Right.
Don't let them do that to you, please. Men and women.
Please
like
don't.
Just be safe. Like, I know that we all like online date or apps or whatever. Just be safe. Like, I'm not saying none of you that you're going to get swindled out of, thousands of dollars, but people will, just swindle you out of your time.
Just be cautious, and worst case scenario, run all of this shit by your friends and we'll probably tell you. Like,
Google is your friend. That's it. Google and be cautious.
There you go. All right. Well, I don't know where Penrose went, but this is it. That was Penrose. I'm Chris. That's VJ and her empty bottle, and we'll see you guys next time.
Later.
Bye.